Tonight, we're diving deep into how the gods shaped the world, the full history of legendary Pokémon. Thank you to those of you who've been joining us consistently. If you're falling asleep with us tonight, let me know in the comments how many nights in a row you've been here. And if this is your first night, just comment day one. Now let's get back to the video. In the beginning, there was only a void of infinite nothingness. No stars flickered in the distance, no wind carried the scent of rain, and the very concepts of yesterday and tomorrow had not yet been whispered into existence. It was a silence so profound that it would have been deafening had there been ears to hear it. But within that swirling center of chaos, a single egg shimmered, a nucleus of pure potential waiting for the spark of intent. When that egg hatched, the universe breathed its first breath. Arceus stepped forth, and with 1,000 arms that no human eye could truly comprehend, it began the impossible task of weaving reality from the raw threads of the vacuum. This is not merely a story of powerful creatures found in tall grass or hidden deep within cavernous ruins. This is the chronicle of the architects of existence. This is the history of the gods. To understand the world of Pokémon is to understand that we are walking upon the literal bodies of titans and breathing the recycled air of ancient celestial wars. Every mountain peak that touches the clouds, every trench that plunges into the crushing darkness of the seafloor, and every bolt of lightning that tears across a summer sky is a remnant of a divine action. We often speak of legendary Pokémon as rare prizes for a trainer's collection, but in the grand tapestry of lore, they are the fundamental forces of nature given physical form. They are the heartbeat of the planet, the guardians of the soul, and the jailers of the chaotic dimensions that sit just behind the veil of our own. Why does this history matter so deeply? Because to ignore the legends is to ignore the very foundation of life itself. When we look at the Sinnoh region, we aren't just looking at snowy paths and ancient temples, we are looking at the birthplace of time and space. When we gaze upon the vast oceans of Hoenn, we are witnessing the aftermath of a catastrophic struggle between land and sea that nearly extinguished all life before it had truly begun. The stakes of these stories are not merely regional, they are cosmic. If the balance between these entities wavers even slightly, the sun could go dark, the seas could boil away, or the very flow of time could stutter and stop, leaving us frozen in a single, eternal moment of agony. To study the legendary Pokémon is to study the fragile equilibrium that allows us to exist at all. But as we peel back the layers of these myths, we find ourselves faced with unsettling mysteries. Why would a creator god like Arceus allow for the existence of a being like Giratina, a creature of such violence that it had to be banished to a world of distorted physics and broken shadows? What truly happened on the night the brass tower burned in Ecruteak City? And what does it mean for a mortal creature to be touched by the rainbow wings of Ho-Oh and brought back as something more than human or Pokémon? He treasures in Paldea that were corrupted by the simple, ugly greed of a human king, transforming into vessels of ruin. This suggests a terrifying truth, that these gods are not just distant observers, but mirrors reflecting the very best and worst of our own hearts. As you settle in, let the weight of the modern world fall away. We're going to travel back, far beyond the first recorded history of man, to the era when the earth was still cooling and the giants walked freely. We will trace the lineage of the stars, from the shimmering light of the Alolan sun and moon to the dark, crystalline hunger of Necrozma. We will walk the path of the swords of justice, as they defended the weak against the fires of human industrialization, and we will stand on the ramparts of Galar to watch the sky turn red during the darkest day. This is a journey through the eras of creation, destruction, and rebirth. It is a story of how the land was pulled into place by ropes of unimaginable strength, how the weather was tamed by a lord of the emerald skies, and how the very emotions we feel, our willpower, our knowledge, and our grief were gifted to us by three small spirits dwelling in the depths of sacred lakes. We will explore the hidden connections between the ancient past and the distant future, where metallic paradoxes and primal roars collide in the great crater of Paldea. The history of legendary Pokémon is a long, winding road through the shadows of myth and the light of revelation. It is a story of balance, where for every creator there is a destroyer, and for every shadow there is a light waiting to be reclaimed. Close your eyes and listen closely to the echoes of the past. The ticking of the clock is the heartbeat of Dialga. The space you occupy is the breath of Palkia, and the world beneath your feet is the masterpiece of the Alpha. Let us begin at the very beginning, in the center of the silence, where the first light began to glow. Before anything stirred, before the whisper of a single atom dared to form, there existed only the void. A boundless hush, deeper than the blackest ocean trench, where no time ticked its relentless march, no space stretched to hold even the faintest shadow, and no matter clung to shape or substance. You can almost feel it now, that perfect eternal stillness, wrapping around you like an infinite blanket, muffling every possible echo into oblivion. In this absence, nothing hungered, nothing dreamed, nothing yearned to be. It was the cradle of non-existence, patient and unyielding, holding court over a canvas yet to no colour or form. Yet even in that profound quiet, chaos simmered beneath the surface, a roiling soup of potential without direction. Swirls of raw energy twisted in unseen currents, defying the void's grip, pregnant with the promise of rupture. From this churning maelstrom, something impossible began to coalesce. A singular point of defiance, glowing faintly, at first like a distant star refusing the dark. It pulsed, subtle and insistent, drawing threads of that cosmic disarray toward itself. Slowly, deliberately, it swelled into form. The egg, smooth, iridescent, veined with veins of otherworldly shimmer. It hung suspended in the nothingness, a fragile orb cradling the spark that would shatter silence forever. No hands crafted it, no will imposed it. It simply was, born from chaos's own rebellion, the first defiance against the endless quiet. As eons folded into themselves, though eons had no meaning yet, the egg trembled, cracks spider-webbed across its shell, golden light seeping through like dawn-piercing eternal night. With a soundless burst, it shattered, and from its heart emerged Arceus, the alpha Pokémon, the original one. Towering and radiant, its body a wheel of pure white perfection, adorned with 13 plates that hummed with latent power. But it was the 1,000 arms, extending like rivers of light from its core, that marked its supremacy. Each arm, fluid and infinite, reached into the void, grasping the chaos and bending it to purpose. They wove threads of possibility into structure, sculpting the raw potential into the bones of reality itself. Feel those arms now, stretching across the emptiness, their touch igniting sparks where none should be, pulling order from the brink of madness. In that moment of hatching, the first light bloomed. Not the harsh glare of a newborn sun, but a soft, pervasive glow emanating from Arceus's form, chasing back the void's chill embrace. It painted the nothingness with hues of possibility, whites and golds bleeding into the first hints of blue and crimson. With this light came the universal laws, etched into existence by those 1,000 arms. Gravity took hold, anchoring the ethereal. Forces of attraction and repulsion danced into balance. The fundamental rules of energy and motion unfurled like petals in morning dew. Time flickered to life in tentative beats. Space expanded in gentle waves, and matter coalesced into specks that would one day form worlds. Arceus stood at the center, not as a conqueror, but as the architect of awakening, its presence a soothing hum that resonated through the newborn cosmos. You might wonder what thoughts stirred in the alpha Pokémon's mind as it surveyed this fragile dawn. Was it awe at its own creation, or a quiet resolve to nurture what it had forged? Those plates upon its back began to shift then, each one a vessel for elemental essence: fire, water, grass, electric, and more. 18 in total, pulsing with the types that would define all life to come. From them, Arceus would soon birth the pillars of the universe. But for now, in this primordial hush, the light held steady, a beacon against the fading chaos. The egg's remnants dissolved into stardust, scattering seeds across the void, hinting at realms yet to unfold. As the light deepened, bathing the emerging expanse in warmth, Arceus extended its arms further, testing the laws it had inscribed. Particles clumped into nebulae, swirling gases birthing protostars that twinkled like distant promises. The Alpha's gaze pierced the growing firmament, envisioning a world of harmony where creation's fury would yield to enduring peace. Yet whispers of imbalance lingered in the chaos's wake, shadows that would demand guardians of their own. That first light wasn't just illumination, it was the spark of destiny, drawing forth entities to steward time's flow, space's vastness, and the precarious balance between. Enveloped in this serene genesis, you can sense the weight of it all, the void's surrender yielding to light's gentle dominion. Arceus, with its 1,000 arms still humming softly, prepared to summon the next wave of shapers, those who would refine this canvas into the Pokémon world we know. But their story, the tale of the architects of reality, waits just beyond this dawn in Chapter 2, where the threads of time, space, and distortion begin to weave their eternal dance, pulling you deeper into the god's grand design. From that shimmering egg, cradled in the endless void, emerged Arceus, the Alpha Pokémon, the one who stands as the architect of all that would ever be. Its form, radiant and boundless, pulsed with the raw essence of creation itself. 13 plates of iridescent power orbiting its body, like the seeds of every element yet to bloom. You can almost feel the tremor of that first awakening, the chaos yielding to purpose as Arceus gazed into the nothingness and willed structure from the formless. In those primordial moments before the first dawn or the whisper of wind, Arceus summoned forth its most trusted emissaries, the creation trio, beings forged to govern the fragile dimensions of this newborn universe. They were not mere creatures, but embodiments of the foundational laws, each one a pillar holding back the return of oblivion. Dialga, Palkia, and their shadowed sibling rose from Arceus's divine forge, their presences rippling through the void like the first breaths of ordered reality. Arceus turned first to the rhythm that would underpin everything, bestowing upon Dialga the boundless power of time. Steel-clad Titan, its body a fortress of platinum diamonds and jagged armor, each chest heaving with a heartbeat that became the universe's metronome. Every thump echoed outward, syncing perfectly with the flow of seconds, stretching moments into eternities or compressing ages into instants. Dialga's roar was no savage cry but a resonant toll marking the birth of past, present and future. You hear it still in the quiet tick of a clock or the steady pulse in your veins. That eternal cadence Dialga imposes on all existence. Without it, events would dissolve into chaos, memories unraveling before they could form. Dialga patrolled the temporal streams, its diamond-crusted claws weaving threads of chronology across the cosmos. Legends from Sinnoh's ancient scrolls whisper of how its mere presence halted the fraying of reality's edges, ensuring that cause preceded effect, that stars ignited in sequence rather than all at once. Travelers who glimpsed it in distorted visions spoke of time bending around its form, flowers blooming and withering in heartbeats, rivers flowing backward only to correct themselves under its watchful gaze. Arceus had crafted Dialga not as a destroyer, but as the steadfast guardian, its heartbeat a lullaby that soothed the wild frenzy of unchecked potential into measured progression. With time secured, Arceus extended its gaze to the canvas upon which that time would unfold, granting Palkia dominion over space itself. This majestic pearl-hued leviathan, its arms like vast portals of shimmering void, stretched forth to stabilize the physical boundaries of existence. Palkia's body, adorned with shoulder-mounted black holes that drank in stray wisps of instability, he expanded the fabric of the universe with effortless grace. Mountains rose where it willed, oceans carved from its breath, distances folding like origami under its command. Feel the subtle shift as space yields, a step that carries you across galaxies, or a void that swallows armies whole. Palkia's power manifested in the very air you breathe, the way horizons curve just so, preventing the world from collapsing inward or exploding outward. Sinnoh myths recount how it pinned the stars in their vaults, tethering planets to their orbits with invisible tethers of spatial force. Those who dared invoke its name in rituals felt the world warp around them, walls parting like mist, skies compressing into domes. Yet Palkia ruled with precision, not tyranny, its roars vibrating through dimensions to knit tears in reality, and ensuring that matter had form, that places endured beyond the flux of time. In those early eons, a profound harmony bloomed between Dialga and Palkia, two deities dancing in perfect synchrony as they expanded the reach of the cosmos. Dialga's rhythmic pulses guided the tempo, each beat prompting Palkia to unfurl new expanses, vast nebulae birthing in the span of a second, galaxies spiraling into being as space inflated to match time's march. Together, they wove the skeleton of the Pokémon world, what would one day be known as Hisui, then Sinnoh. Land masses coalesced from cosmic dust, seas pooled in gravitational wells, skies arched overhead like protective veils. You sense their unity in the night sky's orderly ballet, stars wheeling in timed precision across infinite voids. Their collaboration was poetry in motion, Dialga's temporal waves cresting into Palkia's spatial surges, birthing constellations that still gleam today. Arceus watched from its throne of light, 13 plates humming in approval as the duo sculpted the cradle of life. No discord marred their efforts, instead a resonant hum filled the universe, Dialga's heartbeat echoing through Palkia's portals, amplifying their joint dominion. Regions took shape, craggy highlands pulsing with ageless stone, abyssal depths where time slowed to a crawl amid endless expanses. This was the golden dawn of structure, where every atom found its place, every moment its space. Yet even in this idyllic forge, shadows stirred faintly at the edges, hints of imbalance threatening the duo's flawless accord. Whispers from the distortion world flickered like errant sparks, a third presence born of the same divine spark but twisted toward rupture. Dialga and Palkia pressed on, their harmony shielding the nascent world from unraveling, but the cost of perfection loomed. As their expansions reached feverish peaks, forging the plates that would birth the elements themselves, a rift began to form, one that demanded exile to preserve the balance they've guarded since. Arceus, sensing the fragility beneath the surface, prepared to confront that encroaching darkness, a force wild enough to shatter the very dimensions its creations upheld. What fury brewed in the heart of the third, and how did banishment forge the hidden underbelly of reality? That tale unfolds in Chapter 3, The Banished Shadow, where harmony frays into eternal vigil. And yet, as Dialga's relentless heartbeat wove the threads of time into an eternal tapestry, Arceus gazed deeper into the newborn universe, confronting the unseen force that would bind it all together, the raw, churning essence of antimatter itself. From the primordial void's fractured edges, where light dared not linger, Arceus shaped the third guardian of creation, Giratina, the renegade Pokémon, embodiment of the reverse side of reality. Unlike its siblings, forged in gleaming steel and iridescent pearl, Giratina emerged cloaked in shadow, its form a grotesque mirror to the ordered cosmos, a spectral dragon with wings like shattered voids, golden veins pulsing with otherworldly malice, and a body twisted into perpetual defiance. Antimatter coursed through its veins, the destructive counterpoint to every atom Arceus had willed into being, ensuring that creation could not exist without its perilous twin. In Giratina's presence, the air grew heavy, reality warping at its touch, as if the universe itself recoiled from this necessary aberration. You can almost feel the tremor in the ether as Giratina uncoiled for the first time, its crimson eyes piercing the veil between worlds. Arceus had intended it as the anchor, the shadow cast by light, stabilizing the dimensions Dialga and Palkia were only beginning to stretch across endless voids. Antimatter, after all, was no mere accident. It was the universe's secret architecture, the negative space that prevented collapse, the dark underbelly, where possibilities inverted and echoed back as threats. Giratina embodied this perfectly, its ghostly tail lashing through non-space, devouring stray energies that threatened imbalance, reforming them into chaotic echoes. Legends whisper that in those dawn moments, as Dialga ticked forward and Palkia expanded the horizons, Giratina prowled the fringes, its growls a low rumble that birthed the first distortions. Pockets of reality folding inward, stars flickering out, only to reignite upside down. It was the guardian of what could not be seen, the one who ensured that for every birth there lingered a deathly whisper, keeping the scales from tipping into oblivion. But harmony in creation is fragile, and Giratina's nature, born of opposition, soon curdled into something far more savage. As the world took shape, land masses solidifying under unseen hands, seas pooling in gravitational cradles, Giratina's antimatter hunger grew insatiable. What began as vigilant patrols twisted into rampages, its massive form barreling through nascent realms, unravelling threads Dialga had so carefully spun. Time stuttered in its wake, moments looping in agonized reversals. Space crumpled like parchment under Palkia's distant gaze. Pokémon scholars in Sinnoh's ancient ruins speak of the scars left behind, craters where mountains inverted into chasms, rivers flowing backward into skies that bled shadow. Giratina lashed out not from malice born of thought, but from an intrinsic fury. Antimatter rebelling against its cage of matter, seeking to invert the entire creation into a mirror realm of nothingness. Arceus watched as its own progeny turned predator, golden plates humming with restrained power, the air thick with the scent of ozone and unravelling ether. The violence escalated, a cataclysm that shook the foundations of the young universe. Giratina's wings cleaved through dimensional barriers, spawning rifts that swallowed fledgling lifeforms whole, spitting them back as hollow inversions, echoes drained of vitality. Dialga roared in protest, its diamond-hard body slamming against the chaos, while Palkia unleashed spatial tempests to mend the tears. Yet Giratina pressed on, a whirlwind of ghostly fury, its body phasing through attacks like smoke, reforming to strike again, with claws that phased matter into antimatter bursts. The clash echoed across voids, a symphony of destruction that nearly undid the egg's fragile hatching. Arceus, the Alpha, could no longer abide this renegade heart. With a judgment that split the heavens, it seized Giratina in tendrils of divine will, hurling the beast through a freshly torn veil into exile. Banishment was swift and absolute, Giratina's howls fading into silence as reality sealed behind it, leaving only faint distortions rippling like aftershocks. From that exile arose the distortion world, a prison realm forged in the instant of banishment, not merely a cage but a structural necessity for cosmic equilibrium. Picture it, an endless labyrinth of inverted gravity, where platforms float upward into abyssal skies, colours bleed into negatives, and time loops in lazy, disorienting spirals. Here, physics kneels to antimatter's rule. Left becomes right, up defies down, and every step echoes with the weight of what should not be. Arceus crafted this domain as Giratina's eternal domain, a mirror prison reflecting the world's hidden flaws, where the renegade could rage without unraveling the fragile order above. Yet it served a deeper purpose: balance. Without the distortion world siphoning excess chaos, Dialga's timelines would fray, Palkia's expanses would implode. Giratina tethered to this warped sanctuary, so it became its unwitting warden, its presence stabilizing the thin membrane between realities. Portals flicker rarely from Sinnoh's depths, glimpses of floating ruins and perpetual storms, a testament to the exile's enduring utility. Even now, eons later, Giratina broods in those shadowed folds, its resentment a palpable force seeping through cracks in the world. The renegade Pokémon watches from the distortion's edge, golden eyes fixed on the vibrant realm it once sought to invert, a seething envy coiled in its spectral core. Whispers in Hisui's lore tell of its occasional breaches. Turnback Cave's endless maze, a scar from one such incursion, where trainers vanish into looping voids, emerging changed, haunted by inverted memories. Giratina's grudge festers, antimatter heart pulsing with the injustice of banishment, here forever the outcast sibling to Dialga and Palkia. It lurks as the banished shadow, a reminder that creation demands its darkness, and in quiet moments, you might sense its gaze upon the world, waiting for the scales to tip once more. But amid this shadowed exile, Arceus turned its gaze to subtler gifts, infusing the burgeoning world with something even more profound. In the next chapter, The Gift of Spirit, discover how ethereal essences awakened willpower, emotion, and knowledge in all beings, sparking the dawn of true life and the fragile wills that would one day challenge the gods themselves. With the shadow of Giratina sealed away in the distortion world, the newborn cosmos finally breathed easy, its fragile balance held by Dialga's unyielding rhythm and Palkia's boundless expanse. Arceus, ever the architect of harmony, has sensed a deeper void stirring within creation, not in the stars or seas, but in the hearts of the life forms beginning to flicker into being across Hisui's misty shores. From a single, shimmering thought, pure and radiant as dawn's first light, Arceus summoned 3 ethereal spirits into existence. These were no titans of raw power, but delicate guardians of the mind and soul. Uxie, the embodiment of knowledge, its golden form drifting like a forgotten memory, eyes closed in eternal contemplation. Mesprit, the pink wisp of emotion, pulsing with the wild joy and sorrow of untamed feelings. And Azelf, the blue spark of willpower, fierce and unyielding, a tiny cyclone of resolve. Together, they formed the Lake Trio, born not from chaos or conflict, but from Arceus's desire to infuse the world with purpose. You can almost feel that moment, can't you? The air humming with possibility as Arceus extended its divine will. Uxie opened its veiled eyes first, releasing tendrils of wisdom that seeped into every creature's mind like cool water quenching a parched intellect. Pokémon, that once wandered on pure instinct, suddenly paused, pondering the patterns of the wind, the cycles of the tides, the hidden strengths within their own forms. Humans, too, emerging from their primal haze, began to question, to learn, to name the world around them. Knowledge bloomed like wildflowers after rain, turning scattered tribes into builders of hearths and sharers of stories. Then came Mesprit, its form twirling in ecstatic loops, scattering emotions across the land like petals on a breeze. Laughter echoed through the valleys of Hisui for the first time, binding families in warmth and shared grief, forging unbreakable loyalties. Pokémon felt the pull of affection toward their kin, the sting of loss sharpening their senses, the thrill of discovery igniting playful chases across sun-dappled fields. No longer mere survivors, beings connected through the invisible threads of empathy, a Growlithe nuzzling its trainer's hand, a flock of starly weaving harmonious skies. Emotion painted the world in vibrant hues, softening the edges of existence. Arceus arrived last, diving into the fray with a burst of defiant energy, implanting willpower like roots anchoring ancient trees. Where doubt once paralyzed, now resolve surged. Humans lifted stones to form villages. Pokémon pushed through blizzards to protect their young. Alliances formed against encroaching shadows. And this was the fire that turned curiosity into invention, feeling into courage. Willpower wove through every heartbeat, urging the weak to stand tall, the lost to find their path. In those early dawns, the lake trio danced across Hisui, their gifts intertwining to lay the bedrock of civilization itself. Villages rose along riverbanks, their thatched roofs sheltering humans and Pokémon side by side, sharing meals by firelight, trading knowledge of herbs and hunts. Bonds deepened beyond survival. A child whispered secrets to a Piplup, learning trust in return, while elders recounted tales under starlit gatherings, emotions fueling myths that echoed Arceus' own legend. Without these spirits, the world might have remained a wild drift of instinct, but their essence sparked innovation. Tools forged from stone, songs sung in harmony, and partnerships where a trainer's will met a Pokémon spirit in perfect synergy. Pokémon battles evolved from territorial scraps into displays of mutual growth, humans and their companions dreaming together of horizons yet unseen. Yet even as their light nurtured prosperity, the trio grew weary, their forms flickering like embers after a long blaze. They sought refuge in the serene depths of Sinnoh's sacred lakes, retreating to hidden shrines cradled in underwater caverns. Beneath Lake Verity, Mesprit curled within a chamber of rippling pink crystals, its emotions lulling the waters into gentle sighs. Uxie slumbered under Lake Acuity's icy veil, surrounded by glowing tomes of forgotten lore, its knowledge preserved in eternal quiet. Azelf rested in Lake Valor's fiery grotto, flames tempered to warm flickers, up willpower sustaining the lake's vibrant life above. These shrines, veiled from the world by ancient magics, pulse faintly even today, whispering reminders of the gifts that define us. Guardians in repose, they watch over the balance they helped create, their slumbers a testament to the delicate spark within every soul. As Arceus surveyed this burgeoning world of mindful beings, its gaze turned to the raw, unformed earth, shifting masses in need of a titan's might. That brings us to Chapter 5, the continental colossus, where a colossal force rises to drag continents into place and reshape the very ground beneath your feet. With the spark of knowledge, emotion, and willpower now pulsing through every living soul, the world beneath their feet remained a fractured mosaic. Vast land masses drifted like lost islands on an endless sea, separated by churning voids where oceans would one day pool. Chaos reigned in the crust, tectonic whispers grinding without purpose, until a colossal force stirred from the depths of the planet's core. Regigigas, the continental colossus, awoke. Towering beyond comprehension, its body a monolith of raw, unyielding might, etched with ancient patterns that glowed like veins of molten stone. Legends whisper that it was forged by Arceus itself, or perhaps birthed from the Earth's first furious heartbeat, tasked with binding the splintered world. You can almost feel the ground tremble as its massive form rises, eyes igniting with a slow, deliberate fury, scanning the horizon where continents bobbed aimlessly like toys in a storm-tossed bath. In its colossal fists, Regigigas clutched ropes woven from the strongest fibers of the world, tendrils of pure continental rock, hardened by primordial pressures deeper than any abyss. These weren't mere cords, they were chains of fate, thick as mountain ranges, capable of hauling entire realms across the waves. With a grunt that echoed through the planet's bones, the Titan cast them forth. One rope snagged a jagged supercontinent adrift in the east. Another lassoed a frozen slab drifting northward, and more lashed out to distant shores, pulling with inexorable strength. Picture the spectacle if your mind drifts there in the quiet night. Land masses groaning as they inch closer, dragged by the colossus's unyielding pull. Waves crashed in protest, foaming white against the prows of these earthly ships, while volcanoes belched fire in futile rage. Regigigas stood at the center of it all, its body swaying like a weary mountain shepherd, muscles rippling under skin like cracked granite. Each heave of those ropes sent ripples through the mantle, reshaping the seafloor, birthing chains of islands in their wake. But the Titan worked not alone in haste. Its movements were deliberate, almost meditative, guiding the slow, rhythmic dance of tectonic plates. Feel the pulse of it, the plates sliding with a deep, subterranean rumble, grinding edges fusing into new borders. Hours blurred into days, days into eras, as Regigigas directed this ballet of Earth. One plate nudged beneath another, birthing mountain ranges that clawed at the sky. Another slid sideways, carving vast plains where rivers would later carve their paths. The air hummed with the scent of scorched stone and salt spray, the ground warming under the friction of reunion. This rhythmic guidance wasn't brute force alone. It was artistry, born of patience. Regigigas's hands, vast as storm clouds, pressed and moulded, fingers tracing seams where plates met, coaxing them into harmony. Earthquakes whispered rather than roared, aftershocks lulling like a giant's sigh. Volcanoes erupted, not in destruction, but as forges, spewing lava that cooled into fertile soil. Continents collided softly, their edges blooming into lush highlands, while the Titan hummed a low, resonant song that vibrated through the core, syncing the world's heartbeat to its own. As the supercontinents took shape, Pangea-like behemoths knitting together, Regigigas grew weary of the endless labour. It needed aides, servants to tend the details, while it oversaw the grand design. And from chunks of the Earth's raw elements, the colossus sculpted its kin, the minor Regi-giants. First came Regirock, hewn from the unyielding bedrock of ancient quarries, its body a mosaic of boulders that shifted like living armour. It toiled in the sun-baked lowlands, stacking stones into unbreakable foundations, rivers diverted by its immovable stance. Then Regis carved from the heart of eternal glaciers, crystalline form shimmering with an inner frost that chilled the air for miles. It sculpted the polar realms, freezing fjords and capping peaks with ice that would endure eons, its breath a perpetual winter gale, shaping coastlines into razor-sharp beauty. Registeel followed, forged in the fiery crucibles beneath volcanoes, its metallic frame gleaming with an otherworldly sheen, impervious to blade or blaze. It hammered ores into veins of strength, reinforcing the continent's spines against future quakes. These three, rock, ice, steel, became more than labourers. They were keys to the world's locks. Regirock held the power to anchor soils, preventing erosion's endless theft. Regis commanded the chill that preserved fragile ecosystems in frozen vaults. Registeel wove durability into the metal-rich hearts of mountains, birthing ores that would one day arm civilizations. Together, they roamed the forming lands, their footfalls etching caverns and tunnels, guardians of the Colossus's vision. Regigigas watched them with eyes like setting suns, its ropes now slack as the world coalesced into a single, breathing entity. Yet power on such a scale breeds fear. As humans stirred with the gifts of the late trio, knowledge to build, emotion to wonder, or willpower to conquer, they beheld Regigigas not as saviour, but as omen. The Titan's every step sundered valleys, its gaze cracked the sky, tales spread of rampages, though perhaps it was merely the Earth's final adjustments under its touch. Villages crumbled, seas boiled in its shadow, and whispers turned to dread. The continental king must sleep, lest it unmake what it built. In the frozen north, atop the icy spires of what would become Sinnoh, mortals gathered their courage. With relics forged from Regi remnants, keys of stone, frost and iron, they lured the weary giant to Snowpoint Temple. There, in a chamber vast as a cathedral, carved from the mountain's frozen womb, they sealed it. Regigigas, slumped into slumber, its body folding into stone-like repose, eyes dimming to slits that still flicker in deepest blizzards. The ropes dissolved into legend, the plates stilled in their dance, and the Regi servants scattered to hidden tombs, awaiting a call that may never come. The world, now whole, breathed easier under human feet. But deep in Snowpoint's heart, the colossus dreams on, its slow breaths shifting distant faults, a reminder that the Earth's binding was never truly finished. And as balance holds, another ancient strife simmers just beyond the horizon. That tension builds toward Chapter 6, the primal conflict, where ocean and land clash in a war that could drown or parch the world forever. You won't want to miss how Rayquaza rises to claim the skies. As Regigigas released its iron grip on the ropes, allowing the newly forged continents to settle into their vast, heaving forms, the Earth itself began to stir with a deeper hunger. Far below the cooling crust, in the molten fury of the mantle, something ancient and insatiable cracked open its eyes. Groudon, the primal Earthshaker, awakened from eons of slumber, its crimson hide glowing like veins of lava, pulsing through stone. This colossal beast, born from the planet's fiery core, craved dominion over the land, driving the continents to expand with every thunderous step. Its awakening sent tremors rippling across the surface, splitting valleys into chasms and thrusting mountains skyward in jagged defiance. Groudon moved with the inexorable force of subduction zones reversing, its drought bringing aura, evaporating rivers, and parching the soil into endless red deserts. The air grew thick and heavy, scorched by solar beams that pierced the clouds like spears of sunlight, fueling its relentless push to claim every inch of the world for solid ground. Yet, even as the land swelled and buckled under its power, an equal and opposite force stirred from the lightless depths. In the abyssal trenches where pressure crushed stone to dust and darkness swallowed all light, Kyogre roused from its primordial sleep. This oceanic leviathan, its sleek blue form shimmering with bioluminescent veins, embodied the endless hunger of the seas. With a resonant bellow that vibrated through the ocean floor, it summoned primal currents, raising the waters in towering swells that drowned coastlines and submerged fledgling islands. Kyogre's presence cooled the atmosphere, birthing sheeting rains and origin pulses that swelled the tides into apocalyptic floods, carving seabeds deeper and claiming the surface for its watery realm. The two titans, Groudon and Kyogre, now embodied the primal conflict at the heart of the young planet. Land against sea, expansion against submersion, fire against flood. Groudon's footsteps ignited volcanoes, spewing ash that blackened the skies and hardened into new fertile soil, while Kyogre's dives unleashed tsunamis that eroded mountains back into sediment. Their desires clashed not in petty skirmishes, but in a symphony of geological cataclysm, where every advance by one forced a retaliation from the other. Continents that Regigigas had so painstakingly gathered began to fracture anew, half buried under rising oceans one moment, only to erupt violently the next. This opposition birthed catastrophic weather patterns that scourged the surface without mercy. Skies fractured into perpetual tempests, where Groudon's searing heat spawned massive high-pressure systems, clashing with Kyogre's low-pressure maelstroms to unleash hypercanes. Storms of unimaginable fury, with winds howling at hundreds of miles per hour and lightning forking endlessly across the horizon. Hail the size of boulders pelted the land, whipped up by colliding air masses, while flash floods turned plains into raging torrents, only to evaporate into bone-dry wastelands under relentless solar radiation. The young planet groaned under the strain, its atmosphere a battlefield of cyclones, droughts, and deluges that stripped away topsoil and poisoned the winds with salt and sulfur. Early inhabitants, those first Pokémon and proto-humans gifted with spirit by the lake trio, watched in terror as their fragile homes vanished beneath waves or cracked into abysses. Desperate cries echoed across the ravaged world, Pleas carried on gales that uprooted ancient forests, and whispers drowned in the roar of encroaching seas. Flocks of wingle plummeted from poisoned skies, herds of tauros stampeded from crumbling earth, and the first human tribes huddled in caves, their fires flickering against the encroaching dark of endless storms. These were no mere beasts. Groudon and Kyogre were forces of nature unbound, their primal reversion states amplifying their powers to godlike extremes, shaking the very axis of the world. The first great war of the elements unfolded in slow, world-shattering clashes that spanned ages. Groudon would surface on some distant shore, its precipice wings unfolding to summon earthquakes that sundered the seafloor, exposing dry land for miles. Kyogre retaliated from the depths, its blue core pulsing to call forth a sheath of water that flooded the new terrain, submerging it once more in hydrostatic fury. Each battle escalated the chaos. Groudon's ground-searing heat evaporated oceans into steam clouds that blanketed the globe, cooling only when Kyogre's tidal blasts condensed them into acid rains that scarred the continents. Volcanic winters followed droughts, and ice ages trailed floods, cycling the planet through extremes that tested the resilience of all life. In Hoenn's ancient myths, preserved in the walls of Sky Pillar and the lore of seafaring clans, these wars are etched as the super-ancient Pokémon's rampage, where the land and sea refused coexistence. Fossils of massive claws and finned scales litter the strata, layered with evidence of repeated extinctions, coral reefs pulverized, red clay beds from evaporated seas, all testifying to the Titans' unending feud. The early cries grew into legends, songs of woe sung around flickering hearths, begging for balance amid the deluge and desiccation. Yet as the conflict raged toward potential annihilation, with continents poised to consume the seas or oceans to swallow the earth entirely, a faint emerald gleam pierced the turmoil from the stratosphere. But that mediator's intervention, the one force capable of quelling this primal fury, awaits in Chapter 7, the Emerald Mediator, where skies themselves descend to enforce harmony. As the continents thrust skyward under Groudon's unyielding fury, and the oceans surged in Kyogre's endless deluge, the world drowned in chaos. A land and sea locked in a cataclysmic embrace that threatened to unravel the fragile balance Arceus had woven. Mountains crumbled into boiling abysses, while colossal waves pulverized nascent shores, the air thick with steam, and the roar of primal elements clashing without mercy. You can almost feel the ground shudder beneath you, the salt spray stinging your skin, as if the planet itself were screaming for reprieve. From the stratospheric heights of the ozone layer, where the veil between worlds thins to a shimmering membrane, Rayquaza stirred. This serpentine guardian, coiled eternally in the upper atmosphere, had slumbered through eons, its emerald scales absorbing the sun's raw essence, body elongating across the heavens like a living comet trail. Legends whisper that Rayquaza was born not from egg or chaos, Arceus, but from the world's own breath, the ozone it patrols, filtering cosmic rays that could scorch life from existence. Its descent began as a streak of verdant fire piercing the storm clouds, a sonic boom rippling across the globe, parting the thunderheads like a divine blade. The super ancients paused in their rampage, sensing the mediator's approach, their red and blue auras flickering with ancient recognition. Rayquaza plummeted, rings of its body undulating in hypnotic rhythm, yellow eyes blazing with the authority of the skies. Groudon bellowed defiance from magma-cracked earth, its drought-shriveling aura evaporating oceans on contact, while Kyogre countered with precipitation orbs that flooded valleys into bottomless chasms. But Rayquaza, the unchallenged sovereign of the troposphere, uncoiled fully, hovering between them like a colossal bridge of scale and sinew. Its cry echoed, a piercing, resonant screech that harmonized with the wind's howl, vibrating through stone and water alike, compelling submission. The air grew heavy with delta streams, ozone crackling as Rayquaza channeled the planet's life force, quelling the primal reversion that had twisted Groudon and Kyogre into mindless behemoths of destruction. In that pivotal moment, as the trio converged in the eye of the storm, Rayquaza unveiled a power beyond mortal comprehension, mega evolution, not born of stones or bonds like those wielded by trainers in later ages, but a divine ascension, pure and unbound. Drawing solely from its draconic essence, Rayquaza initiated Dragon Ascent, its form surging with hyper-infused energy. Scales sharpened into jagged armor, fins elongated into sweeping wings, and a mane of ethereal energy erupted from its head, crackling with megalostatic fury. This megaform, Delta Rayquaza, transcended its already godlike stature, becoming a celestial arbiter, its presence alone warping the battlefield. Mega evolution here was no mere transformation. It was intervention from the gods themselves, a tool etched into the fabric of creation for moments when balance teetered on oblivion. You hear the whoosh of air compressing around it, feel the electromagnetic hum raising hairs on your arms, as Rayquaza's mega aura suppressed the super ancients' reversion, stripping their primal glow and restoring glimmers of reason. With Groudon and Kyogre subdued, their colossal forms slumping under the weight of Rayquaza's dominance, the mediator enacted judgment. Groudon was driven deep into subterranean chambers, vast caverns forged in the planet's molten core, where seismic seals of stone and magma-bound chains would cradle its slumber. There, in Earth's fiery womb, it dreams of continents yet to rise, its snores rumbling as distant quakes. Kyogre, meanwhile, was banished to abyssal oceanic trenches, lightless voids plunging miles below the surface, ringed by currents of crushing pressure and bioluminescent wards. Its breaths manifest as deep-sea currents, whispering through coral labyrinths, ensuring oceans rise no higher than fate decrees. Rayquaza oversaw the banishment personally, its megaform coiling around each in turn, imprinting celestial locks that only Cataclysm could breach. Locks attuned to the world's harmony, unbreakable so long as balance endures. Yet peace settled like a soft veil over the ravaged world. Lands stabilized, seas receded to their ordained basins, and the skies cleared to reveal stars unmarred by elemental wrath. Rayquaza ascended once more, resuming its eternal vigil from the ozone layer, a sentinel against threats beyond the horizon. Not just earthly titans, but extraterrestrial invaders, comets laced with alien life, meteor swarms harboring Deoxys-like anomalies, or voids from which otherworldly beasts might spill. Its patrols trace atmospheric rivers, eyes scanning for distortions in the aurora, ready to unleash aerial barrages or mega ascensions against any cosmic incursion. Hoenn's folklore reveres it as the sky-high Pokémon, protector of the fragile blue marble, ensuring no starfall peril disrupts the cradle of life below. Generations passed, and Rayquaza's legend wove into human myths, the dragon that ended the endless storm, broker of land and sea. Temples atop Sky Pillar etched its feats in jade reliefs, priests chanting invocations to summon its aid in times of woe. Yet it remains aloof, intervening only when the super ancients stir or skies fracture with otherworldly rifts. In the quiet aftermath, you sense its presence still, a faint green shimmer high above, the steady rhythm of wings cutting through jet streams, a lullaby of guardianship that soothes the world to sleep. But whispers persist of other guardians rising from the ashes of calamity, where rainbows pierce the gloom and tempests yield to harmony. In our next chapter, The Phoenix and the Storm, we'll uncover how flames of revival birthed beasts of thunder, fire and purification, and the duo that tamed the sea's fury forever. Stay with me as the saga ascends, with Rayquaza's emerald form withdrawing back into the ozone veil. The super ancients slumbered once more, their cataclysmic clash etched into the scarred earth and endless seas. The world breathed easier under that tenuous harmony, allowing civilizations to rise from the cradle of cooled lava and receding floods. Far across the eastern oceans, in the verdant heart of Johto, humans turned their gaze skyward, drawn by whispers of divine watchers who had surveyed the primal wars from afar. In the ancient city of Ekrutak, where misty forests met whispering plains, master builders gathered under a canopy of eternal twilight. They envisioned spires that pierced the heavens, monuments to the unseen forces that commanded the elements, stone by stone. They raised the brass tower first, its burnished walls gleaming like captured sunlight, sturdy and proud, reaching toward the domain of the sea's fierce guardian. Not far off, its twin rose, the tin tower, slender and resonant, forged from metals that sang in the wind, a beacon for the rainbow-winged sovereign of the skies. These weren't mere structures. They were invitations, altars of harmony between mortal hands and immortal wills, designed to house the gods who balance storm and serenity. Ho-Oh, the phoenix of radiant plumage, claimed the tin tower as its perch. Its feathers shimmered through every hue of the spectrum, trailing arcs of prismatic light that painted the city below in colours unseen at dawn or dusk. This guardian of the skies embodied renewal and purity, its massive wings unfurling to stir gentle thermals that carried seeds across continents, ensuring life's endless cycle. Riders on the winds could glimpse its sacred ashes, said to hold the power to resurrect the worthy from oblivion. Ho-Oh watched over Johto with eyes like molten gold, intervening only when imbalance threatened the aerial realms, diverting tempests, guiding migratory flocks through blizzards, and blessing the worthy with glimpses of its eternal flight. Beneath the waves that lapped Johto's shores, Lugia stirred in response, ascending to the brass tower's summit. The diving Pokémon, its silvery form vast as a leviathan, silver scales rippling like moonlight on turbulent depths. As guardian of the seas, Lugia quelled the ocean's wrath, its psychic pulses commanding whirlpools to still and tsunamis to recede before they devoured coastlines. With a single resonant cry that echoed through underwater canyons, it summoned bioluminescent schools to nourish coral kingdoms and dispersed undersea volcanoes before they erupted into fury. Together, atop their twin spires, Ho-Oh and Lugia formed Johto's divine duo, one commanding the boundless blue above, the other the abyssal blue below. Their presence a vow of protection, weaving skies and seas into unbreakable accord. For generations, this era unfolded in profound peace. Pilgrims scaled the tower's winding stairs, offering incense and chants that mingled with the wind's soft howl. Humans and Pokémon coexisted in reverence, sharing the spire's heights. Flocks of Pidgeot wheeled in Ho-Oh's radiant wake, while Lapras herds surfaced at Lugia's call, ferrying villagers across fog-shrouded bays. Ekrutak buzzed with festivals under starlit domes where children chased illusory rainbows and elders recounted tales of the Guardian's interventions, how Ho-Oh's tail feathers healed poisoned lands, or Lugia's wings generated gales that swept away encroaching shadows. The air hummed with unity, the towers pulsing like twin heartbeats, their bells tolling in synchronized rhythm to mark the turning tides and sunrises. No storm raged unchecked, no drought parched the fields. Life flourished in this symbiotic dance, mortals tending the bases, while legends reigned supreme above, their shadows a comforting shroud over the realm. Yet harmony, like a feather on the breeze, proved fragile. One fateful dusk, as thunderheads gathered unbidden on the horizon, swollen and unnatural, crackling with veins of electric fury, a bolt descended without mercy. It cleaved the sky like a god's vengeful spear, slamming into the brass tower's pinnacle where Lugia had perched moments before, diving to investigate a distant ripple in the deeps. The impact shattered the metal facade, igniting timbers soaked in centuries of sea spray. Flames erupted in a roaring inferno, devouring the structure from apex to foundation, Screams pierced the night. 3 Pokémon, entwined in prayer within the tower's heart, unable to flee the blaze. The city watched in horror as embers spiraled skyward. The once gleaming spire reduced to a skeletal ruin, black smoke billowing like a funeral pyre for the era itself. Lugia surfaced miles offshore, at its cry a mournful dirge that shook the waves, powerless against the capricious heavens. Whispers spread. Was this retribution from a jealous sky god, or mere chaos unbound? The Guardian's vigil shattered, leaving Johto veiled in grief and ash. As the ruins smouldered under a blood-red moon, faint glimmers stirred amid the wreckage, embers not of destruction, but of something reborn. What miracles might emerge from these very ashes, defying the storm's cruel hand? You'll discover that profound resurrection when we reach Chapter 9, Resurrection in the Ashes. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. But peace in Ecruteak's towers would not endure forever. One stormy night, as lightning cracked the heavens like shattered glass, a bolt tore through the brass tower's spire. Flames erupted in an instant, devouring the wooden beams and thatched roofs that had stood for generations. The fire raged unchecked, a roaring inferno that painted the night sky in hues of orange and crimson, its heat so fierce it warped the air itself. Within those blazing halls, 3 ordinary Pokémon, nameless souls caught in the chaos, perished amid the collapse, their forms reduced to ash drifting on the wind. Ho-Oh, the rainbow-winged phoenix, who had blessed the towers with its radiant presence, felt the tragedy pierce its divine heart from afar. It circled the skies above Johto, wings slicing through thunderheads, until sorrow drew it earthward once more. Descending like a comet, trailed in prismatic light, Ho-Oh alighted amid the smouldering ruins, its feathers shimmering through the haze of smoke. The ground trembled faintly under its talons, and a hush fell over the crackling embers, as if the world held its breath. With a cry that echoed like distant chimes, Ho-Oh channeled the sacred flames of rebirth. Its body glowing with the colours of the dawn it had woven into existence long ago. From the ashes stirred the first signs of life, a surge of crackling energy, wild and untamed. Sparks leaped from the cinders, coalescing into a form sleek and powerful, its fur a deep violet streaked with yellow. Raikou burst forth, the embodiment of lightning itself, eyes flashing like stormlit horizons. Its muscles rippled with electric fury, mane standing on end as thunder rumbled in its chest. But this was no mere Pokémon revived. Raikou carried the raw voltage of the heavens, a sprinting tempest born to chase the gales across Johto's plains, leaving trails of ionized air that hummed long after it passed. Beside it, the ashes swirled hotter, igniting into molten fury. Flames twisted upward, forging a beast of volcanic might, Entei, wreathed in an aura of searing red and cream. Its breath came in gusts of superheated air, pores scorching the earth, black with every step. Entei embodied the unquenchable fire that had claimed the tower, yet now purified, a guardian of life's renewing blaze. It roared, a sound like lava cascading into the sea, shaking loose stones from the ruined walls and filling the night with the scent of brimstone and rebirth. Then came the gentlest surge, and a mist rising from the dampened ruins where rain had begun to fall. Water crystallized in the air, weaving into crystalline streams that flowed upward against gravity. Suicune emerged, graceful and ethereal, its body a cascade of navy blue and white, ribbons trailing like liquid silk. The north wind whispered at its heels, carrying the pure scent of mountain springs and fresh rain. As the purest of the trio, Suicune drank in the pollution of the fire, exhaling clean vapors that cooled the devastation, turning ash to fertile soil beneath its hooves. These legendary beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, stood together for the first time, pulsing with elemental harmony. They were no longer nameless. They were the cycle of destruction and renewal made flesh, bound to Ho-Oh's will, yet free to roam. With nods of fierce loyalty to their reviver, and they scattered into the wilderness of Johto. Raikou vanished in a blur of lightning, bounding across storm-swept moors to challenge the tempests. Entei plunged into volcanic crags, its flames lighting hidden caves where it tested the endurance of wanderers who dared approach. Suicune glided through misty valleys, purifying tainted rivers and appearing to those whose hearts burned with true compassion, only to flee like a mirage from the selfish. You can almost hear their distant calls echoing through the nights of Johto even now. Raikou's electric howls cutting the thunder, Entei's bellows rumbling like earthquakes, Suicune's melodic whinnies carried on purifying breezes. They prowl eternally, not as conquerors, but as judges of humanity's soul. To the pure-hearted trainer, they offer glimpses of alliance, a spark of thunder, and a lick of flame, a sip of crystal water. To the corrupt, they bring trials, storms that lash the wicked, fires that expose deceit, floods that drown greed. Their roamings weave through folklore, tales of sightings on foggy mountaintops or during eclipses, always vanishing before capture, eternal wanderers ensuring balance endures. Yet amid this resurrection's triumph, Lugia stirred uneasily in the depths. The silver guardian of the seas, perched atop the tin tower during calmer times, sensed its own power swelling dangerously in the wake of the storm. Its psychic wings, vast enough to cradle whirlpools, risked summoning tempests far greater than the one that birthed the beasts. With a resonant cry that vibrated through ocean currents, Lugia withdrew from the mainland, diving into the churning maelstrom of the Whirl Islands far offshore. And there, amid caverns lashed by eternal waves, it coiled into psychic slumber. Psychic barriers holding back the gales its awakening might unleash. Johto's coasts breathe easier for it, spared apocalyptic dives that could swallow cities whole. Ho-Oh returned to its perch, watching its creations roam, while the brass tower's ruins stand as a charred monument to life's fragile spark and its divine revival. The beast's thunderous footfalls remind us that from calamity rises purpose, elements intertwined in an endless dance. As their legends echo onward, they lead us toward twin dragons locked in eternal debate, where truth clashes with ideal in Unova's shadowed heart. In the next chapter, The Truth and the Ideal, you'll witness flames of conviction battling bolts of conviction, and a fusion that could reshape destinies forever. Don't drift off just yet. As the reborn beasts of Johto began their eternal roam across storm-swept plains and purifying rains, far to the east, in the cradle of Unova, a far older legend stirred, one born not from ashes, but from the very essence of ambition and belief. In the ancient kingdom that would one day bloom into cities like Castelia and Nimbasa, two twin princes rose to power, brothers bound by blood, yet destined to redefine the world's understanding of truth and pursuit. These princes, heirs to a throne forged in unity, discovered the original dragon, a colossal being of pure shimmering scales, its body a swirling vortex of black and white energy, wings vast enough to eclipse the sun. This dragon was no mere guardian. It was the embodiment of perfection, and a force that had watched over Unova since the land's first stirrings from primordial mud. The princes, young and visionary, forged a pact with it, not through battle or ritual, but through shared dreams of a grander world. The elder prince sought unyielding truth, the facts that underpin reality itself, while the younger chased ideals, the aspirations that propel humanity beyond the known. Together with the dragon, they built an empire, towering spires of stone that pierced the clouds, rivers redirected to nourish endless fields, and a people united under the dragon's watchful gaze. Villages flourished, scholars debated in candlelit halls, and the air hummed with the dragon's low, resonant hum, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. But harmony, as it often does in tales of gods, proved fragile. Whispers of discord crept into the royal court. The elder prince proclaimed that only truth could sustain their kingdom, cold, verifiable facts, stripped of illusion, the fire that burns away deceit. His brother countered with ideals, visions of what could be, powered by thunderous conviction, the spark that ignites change, even against impossible odds. Their arguments escalated from heated words in the throne room to public spectacles that divided the kingdom. Families split, loyalties fractured, and the original dragon, caught between their passions, began to fracture from within. Its once unified form trembled, black and white energies clashing like storm clouds, birthing lightning. In a cataclysmic moment, atop the highest peak of Unova's spine, the dragon split asunder. From its core erupted Reshiram, the vast white Pokémon, and a majestic creature of fiery truth, its turbine tail blazing with white-hot flames that illuminated every hidden lie. Reshiram's wings spread like judgment's wings, its roar a clarion call, demanding honesty from all who heard it. Opposite rose Zekrom, the vast black Pokémon, embodiment of ideals, its electric tail crackling with raw, boundless power, bolts of thunder forging paths through the darkest doubts. Zekrom's crimson eyes glowed with unyielding pursuit, its presence a storm that promised revolution. The empty husk left behind, a hollow shell of jagged ice and void, plummeted into the earth's depths, freezing eternally in the giant chasm, a yawning scar in Unova's northern wilds, where blizzards howl through crystalline caverns as an eternal echo of loss. Empowered by their new dragons, the twin princes turned their ideals into weapons. What began as a philosophical schism ignited into the war of fire and lightning, a devastation that reshaped Unova forever. Reshiram's flames swept across the land like purifying infernos, scorching forests into ash, melting mountains into rivers of lava, exposing the raw truths beneath. Cities reduced to glowing embers, fields turned to glass under heat that peeled back the soil's secrets. Zekrom retaliated with tempests of thunder, bolts forking from blackened skies to shatter stone and splinter the earth, ideals crashing down in electric fury that uprooted ancient oaks and flooded valleys with charged torrents. The brothers' armies clashed amid this divine onslaught. Warriors in bronze armor hurled spears into gales, while flames licked at the heels of fleeing masses. The air reeked of ozone and char. The ground quaked with each step of the dragon's fury, and the once thriving kingdom crumbled into ruins. Opulent palaces toppled, sacred groves vaporized. The very skyline of Unova leveled into a wasteland of smoldering craters and lightning-scarred plains. For years, the war raged without mercy, brother against brother, truth against ideals, until exhaustion claimed them both. The dragons, drained of their boundless might, retreated into legend, Reshiram vanishing into the clouds above the Pokémon League's future site, Zekrom burrowing into caverns beneath the desert resort, waiting for heroes worthy of their cause. And in the giant chasm, Kyurem slumbered, its incomplete form a sword-shaped shadow of ice, black wings folded in perpetual chill, a reminder that even gods can be torn apart by mortal hubris. Explorers who venture there today speak of an unnatural cold that seeps into bones, whispers of hollow wind through its maw, and a faint, pulsing void that hungers for wholeness, fusions with Reshiram or Zekrom, birthing new abominations of black ice or white frost, echoes of that ancient rift. Unova's people, survivors of the cataclysm, rebuilt from the ashes, their folklore weaving warnings into every tale. Truth without ideals withers like flame without fuel. Ideals without truth rage like lightning without ground. Temples rose to honor the dragons. Heroes sought their lairs in quests for enlightenment, and the land healed slowly. Rivers carving new paths through scarred valleys. Wild Pokémon reclaiming the wilds. Yet the schism lingers in Unova's soul, and a philosophical divide that fuels modern rivalries. From trainers debating strategies in Ikira City's snows, to philosophers in Lacunosa Town, pondering the dragon's return. But even as fire and thunder faded into myth, shadows stirred in Unova's deepest forests, where noble warriors emerge to protect the innocent from humanity's encroaching wars. Their tale of steel, stone and grass awaits in Chapter 11, the Knights of the Forest. Knights whose blades and hooves would clash against the chaos left by gods divided. As the flames of truth and ideals scorched Unova's horizons with Reshiram and Zekrom, deeper within the region's ancient woodlands stirred a quieter, fiercer oath, one forged not in dragonfire, but in the rustle of leaves and the clash of righteous steel. In those shadowed canopies, or where sunlight pierced like scattered blades, 3 legendary warriors emerged from legend into purpose. Cobalion, the noble leader cloaked in gleaming blue armor, Terrakion, the unbreakable behemoth of unyielding rock and raw power, and Virizion, the swift guardian of verdant grace, her form a whirlwind of emerald blades. These were no mere beasts of burden or elemental titans. They were the swords of justice, born from a time when human ambition turned cruel. Picture the sprawling forests of Unova, teeming with Pokémon who lived in harmony with the wild, until loggers and hunters, driven by endless greed, began to carve through the heartwood. Axes bit deep into ancient trunks, snares claimed the innocent, and smoke from unchecked forges choked the air. Pokémon fled in terror, their cries echoing unanswered. It was then, amid the felled giants and bloodied earth, that Cobalion first raised its head, eyes burning with unquenchable resolve. They had watched from the fringes, these 3, as villages swelled and borders pushed ever inward. Humans built their empires on the backs of the wild, capturing Pokémon not for partnership but for profit, pitting them against each other in brutal spectacles or stripping their habitats for fleeting gain. The breaking point came not in thunderous battle, but in a vow whispered among the trees. Cobalion, with its antlered helm forged like tempered justice, gathered Terrakion's mountainous frame and Virision's lithe silhouette under a canopy of stars. "No more," Cobalion declared, its voice a resonant clang that shook dew from the branches. "We will stand as shields for the weak, swords for the oppressed. Pokémon shall know sanctuary from human avarice." Terrakion stamped the earth, cracking stone in solemn agreement, while Virision's leaves shimmered like a pledge sealed in wind. From that night, they became the unseen vanguard, patrolling the wilds, dismantling poacher camps with precision strikes, and vanishing before dawn could betray them. But fate tested their oath in fire's cruel embrace, the great forest fire. It raged without mercy, sparked by human torches, left burning in their haste to claim more timber. Flames leapt from tree to tree, a roaring inferno that devoured acres in hours, turning lush green havens into ash-choked ruins. Pokémon stampeded through the blaze, blinded by smoke, their pelts singed and lungs searing. Amid the chaos, the knights charged into the heart of it. Cobalion's sacred blade cleaved falling branches, carving paths of escape. Terrakion barreled through walls of flame, its rocky hide impervious, shielding herds from collapsing timbers. Virizion danced through the embers, her speed a blur that herded the vulnerable to safety. Deep in the conflagration's core, they found a miracle amid the tragedy. A young colt Pokémon, barely weaned, trapped beneath a smouldering log. Its wide eyes gleamed with defiance, tiny hooves kicking futilely against the heat. This was Keldeo, the apprentice destined to join their ranks, his watery mane flickering like a spark of hope. Terrakion lifted the log with effortless might, while Virizion cooled his burns with a gentle gale from her horns. Cobalion knelt, antlers glowing faintly, and whispered words of courage that bound the colt to their cause. They carried Keldeo from the inferno as the last flames guttered out, the forest's silence broken only by distant crackles and the young one's grateful whinny. From that rescue bloomed a new legacy. The knights retreated to their secret training grounds, a hidden glade veiled by illusions of twisting vines and perpetual mist, accessible only through forgotten forest paths known to a few. There, amid crystal streams and moss-draped standing stones, They schooled Keldeo in the philosophy of the sacred sword, not a weapon of vengeance, but a technique of pure-hearted precision. The sacred sword demanded harmony between body and spirit, a strike that cleaved injustice without needless harm. Cobalion taught strategy, its every lesson a parable of measured justice. Terrakion instilled endurance, boulders shattering under hooves to symbolize unbreakable will. Verician imparted agility, leaves swirling in patterns that mirrored life's fluid grace. Keldeo absorbed it all, his form evolving from fragile foal to resolute warrior, his mane hardening into a blade of his own. Yet mastery eluded him. Doubt clouded his strikes, the weight of the fire's memory too heavy. The knights never rushed him. They lived by example, emerging from the glade only to intervene in shadows, freeing captured Pokémon from iron cages, toppling corrupt overseers with a single silent charge, then melting back into the woods like ghosts. Whispers spread among trainers and villagers. Spectral knights who punished the greedy, spared the just. Forests regenerated under their watch, Pokémon populations thriving in protected groves. Their legend endures as hidden defenders, eternal sentinels, who remind humanity that nature's balance demands respect. Even as Unova's dragons clashed ideals, these knights forged justice in subtlety, their blades ever ready beneath the leaves. And as Keldeo finally mastered the sacred sword, his triumphant cry echoed through the glade, heralding a new era of guardianship. But whispers of unrest stir elsewhere in Unova's wilds, where tempests twist and gales betray their masters. In Chapter 12, The Fickle Winds of Change, you'll uncover the chaotic trio that bends the skies to their whims, and the grounded force that dares to tame them. What fury awaits when winds turn vengeful? Stay with me as we chase those howling secrets. As the young Keldeo honed his blade under the watchful eyes of Cobalion, Terrakion, and Verician, the skies over Unova began to stir with a restlessness that no night could quell. Fierce gales whipped through the plains, uprooting ancient trees and scattering seeds like forgotten promises, while thunder cracked the horizon without mercy, turning fertile fields into cracked wastelands. These were no ordinary storms, they heralded the arrival of the forces of nature, primal entities born from the land's own fury, forever locked in a dance of destruction and renewal. Tornadus descended first, a whirlwind incarnate with eyes like swirling tempests and wings that sliced the air into howling vortices. He reveled in the chaos, twisting seasons into knots, summoning blizzards in midsummer and droughts amid the rains, leaving villages buried under drifts or parched under unrelenting sun. Villages whispered of him as the cyclone Pokémon, and a harbinger whose laughter echoed in every uprooted oak and flooded riverbed. But he was not alone. From the roiling clouds burst Thundurus, the bolt-strike Pokémon, his serpentine body crackling with electric rage, horns forked like lightning bolts frozen mid-strike. Where Tornadus scattered, Thundurus shattered, hurling thunderbolts that splintered mountainsides and ignited forests, his booming roars drowning out the cries of those below. Together, these two roamed Unova's vast expanses, their seasonal mayhem a reminder that nature bows to no vow, no knightly oath, only to its own wild rhythm. The people of Unova trembled as crops withered and homes crumbled, pleading to the earth itself for salvation, and the earth answered. From the depths rose Landorus, the abundant Pokémon, his form a majestic fusion of beast and bounty, but with a mane like flowing wheat and arms that cradled the very soil he tilled. Known as the Great Revealer, he emerged not with wrath alone, but with purpose, to punish the reckless duo and restore what they had ravaged. With a single sweep of his mighty limbs, Landorus summoned seismic tremors that grounded Tornadus, binding the wind spirit in earthen chains until his gales whimpered to stillness. Thundurus fared no better. Landorus channeled the land's fury into a colossal mudshot, slamming the thunder beast into submission. his bolts fizzling against the unyielding ground. Yet mercy tempered justice. As the pair cowered, Landorus blessed the soil with his presence, his footsteps sprouting lush grasses, his breath coaxing fruits to swell on barren branches. Fields bloomed overnight, rivers ran clear once more, and Unova exhaled in gratitude, hailing him as the guardian who turned calamity into abundance. But these forces held deeper secrets, forms buried in antiquity, waiting for the right light to unveil them. Legends spoke of a sacred artifact, the reveal glass, a shimmering mirror forged in the heart of Unova's mountains. Its surface etched with runes that captured the essence of primal rage. When held aloft under the full moon's gaze, or shattered by mortal folly, the glass awakened the Therian formies, ancient guises of raw, untamed power. Tornadus transformed into his Therian incarnation, a quadrupedal fury with elongated tails, whipping cyclones from his haunches, his body a blur of avian savagery, unbound by humanoid grace. Thundurus followed, his Therian shape a thunderous quadruped, arms like battering rams pulsing with plasma, evoking the lightning beasts of prehistory that scorched the skies before humans dared tread the land. Landorus too shifted, his Therian form a hulking guardian with shovel-like hands and a crest like furrowed earth, ploughing fertility from desolation itself. These were their true origins, echoes of an era when the forces of nature walked as colossal titans. Their Therian might summoned only by the reveal glass's eerie glow, a tool that could either harmonize the trio or unleash pandemonium anew. Across the vast sea, far from Unova's turbulent plains, another member of this divine quartet whispered life into distant lands. Enamorus, the love Pokémon, sailed on gentle zephyrs to the rugged shores of Hisui, her delicate wings shimmering like cherry blossoms in eternal spring. Unlike her tempestuous kin, and she embodied renewal's tender embrace, scattering pollen that awakened dormant seeds and coaxed barren cliffs into meadows of vibrant wildflowers. In Hisui's harsh winters, her arrival melted the frost from ancient pines, drawing forth rivers of meltwater that nourished the soil for generations. Villages there carved her image into heart-shaped stones, crediting her dances, graceful pirouettes amid fluttering petals, with banishing famine and igniting the spark of life itself. She bridged the chaos of her siblings with serenity, a fairy breeze ensuring that even after storms ravaged the world, spring would always follow, painting the archipelago in hues of pink and green. These forces of nature, with their fickle winds and revelatory might, wove Unova's fate into the grand tapestry of creation, and their Therian echoes a warning that power unchecked devours all. Yet in their balance, they gifted the world resilience, a cycle where destruction seeds rebirth. And as their tempests fade into memory, deeper rhythms pulse beneath, whispers of eternal guardians who command the very thread of existence itself. Stay with me as we uncover Chapter 13, the cycle of life and death, where the boundary between mortality and myth blurs in ways that will leave you breathless. With Landorus's fertile winds finally settling over Unova's fields, restoring harmony after the tempests of Tornadus and Thundurus, the world's grander cycles reveal themselves elsewhere, where life and death dance in perfect, unending opposition. In the elegant region of Kalos, two primordial forces embody this truth more vividly than any other. Xerneas, the radiant stag of restoration, and Eveltal, the harbinger of destruction, cloaked in crimson wings. They are not enemies, but partners in eternity, their powers weaving the very fabric of existence. Xerneas awakens from slumbers deep within ancient forests, its multicolored antlers glowing like dawn's first light, channeling life force into barren soil and wilted blooms. Flowers unfurl at its step, rivers swell with fresh vitality, and Pokémon, long faded, stir once more, drawn back from the brink by its boundless generosity. Yet this surge demands balance, for unchecked growth would choke the world in overabundance. That's when Yveltal stirs, its vast wings unfolding like a blood-red eclipse, absorbing the essence of the dying to prevent stagnation. Leaves crisp and fall, creatures surrender their final breaths, and then the land quiets under its shadow, not in malice but in mercy, clearing space for renewal. Together they form Kalos's heartbeat, a rhythm as old as the stars, ensuring that for every birth there is an end, and from every end a rebirth. This delicate equilibrium, held for millennia, whispered in Colossian folklore, as the cycle of life and death, until human ambition shattered it 3,000 years ago. The Great War ravaged the land, a conflict born of endless strife between warring kingdoms, where fields burned and cities crumbled under relentless sieges. At its heart stood Arceus, the grief-stricken king of Kalos, whose beloved Floette perished on the battlefield, stolen away by the chaos he himself had fueled. Desperate to reclaim her, Arceus poured his vast resources into a forbidden creation, the ultimate weapon, and a colossal tower of ancient machinery fueled by the life energy of countless Pokémon. Legends speak of its activation as a cataclysm. The ground trembled as Xerneas and Yveltal were drawn inexorably toward it, their essences siphoned into the weapon's glowing core. A beam of pure destructive power erupted skyward, vaporizing armies on both sides, scorching the earth black for hundreds of miles, and leaving craters that still scar the landscape today. Yveltal's draining touch amplified the devastation, pulling life from the fallen, while Xerneas's restorative glow flickered weakly against the onslaught. The war ended in an instant, but at what cost? Kalos lay in ruins, its vibrant meadows reduced to ash, its rivers poisoned, and the balance teetered on oblivion. In the aftermath, Xerneas, drained to near extinction, sought refuge in the heart of the Vanaville forest, or so the tales say. There it merged with a mighty, hollowed tree, its form dissolving into bark and branch, antlers becoming gnarled roots that delved deep into the wounded soil. For 3,000 years, it slumbered in this arboreal cocoon, a living conduit of healing. Slowly, imperceptibly, green shoots pierced the desolation. Vines reclaimed the rubble, birds nested in its canopy, and the pulse of life returned, softer at first, then stronger, as Xerneas mended the fractures from within. Yveltal too withdrew into the shadows of unfamiliar peaks called Murderous Mountain, its wings folded in torpor, conserving the deathly energies it had unleashed. But the land could not heal unaided. It needed a silent overseer to guard against further imbalance. From the labyrinthine caves beneath Kalos's surface emerged Zygarde, the order Pokémon, a serpentine guardian forged from the ecosystem itself. Composed of countless cells scattered across soil, rivers and skies, Zygarde manifests in forms both subtle and immense. A tiny sprite monitoring the undergrowth, a coiled hound patrolling the wilds, or its complete draconic true form rising like a green-scaled colossus when equilibrium fractures. Zygarde's vigilance is absolute, its myriad eyes perceiving every ripple in the natural order, the overgrowth of invasive vines, the depletion of prey by unchecked predators, the subtle poisons leaching from war-torn earth. It enforces harmony, not through spectacle, but precision. A flash of power disperses invasive swarms, a seismic rumble redirects flooding rivers, and iridescent auras realign the food chains. In the wake of the ultimate weapon, Zygarde's cells multiplied, weaving through the regenerating forests and purifying streams, ensuring Xerneas's slow revival would not tip into excess. Whispers among Colossian elders tell of rare sightings, a glowing core pulsing in Geosenge Town's shadows, or a 10% form slithering through Lavaire City's mist-shrouded woods, reminders that the dragon watches always. Even today, as modern trainers glimpse these legends, Zygarde's presence lingers, a quiet enforcer preventing humanity's follies from reigniting the ancient cataclysm. And so, Kalos breathes again, its cycle restored under the watchful gaze of these titans, where destruction paves the way for life's tender resurgence. But as this fragile peace holds in the heart of the continent, set far across shimmering seas to isolated archipelagos, other guardians stir from their eternal vigils, their dances of protection echoing through the waves. Join me next for Chapter 14, The Island Guardians, where ethereal shields rise against otherworldly threats, weaving spells that promise mysteries even deeper than the caves of Zigard. As the echoes of Kalos' ultimate weapon faded into legend, 3,000 years passed, the world turned its gaze to distant horizons, where azure waves cradle the Alolan Islands like precious gems in Poseidon's palm. Here, amid volcanic peaks and whispering palms, 4 ancient guardians, known as the Tapu, rise to defend their sacred domains, their shells gleaming like shields forged from the Earth's own heartbeat. These are no distant deities brooding in shadows. They are vibrant, capricious protectors, dancing on the wind and crashing through surf to safeguard every blade of grass, every coral reef, every soul that calls Alola home. Melemele Island, the gateway to this paradise, bows to Tapu Koko, the electric sentinel whose golden form crackles with the fury of 1,000 thunderstorms. Perched atop the cliffs of ruins of conflict, Koko patrols with relentless energy, its 4-clawed arms sparking arcs of lightning that illuminate the night sky like fireworks from the gods. Legends whisper that Koko once descended during a cataclysmic storm, driving back invaders who dared plunder the island's shores, leaving behind scorched earth as a warning etched in glass. No fisherman ventures too far without offering a prayer, for Koko's vigilance turns the tides themselves into allies, whipping waves into barriers against any threat. Across the channel lies Akala Island, lush and blooming under the watchful eye of Tapu Lele, the psychic guardian whose shell swells with hypnotic pinks and purples, evoking the mesmerizing bloom of a midnight orchid. Lele drifts through the air like a living nebula, its tentacles trailing mist that heals the wounded and confounds the wicked. In the heart of ruins of life, it communes with the island's flora, drawing strength from the vibrant ecosystems that pulse with Alola's vitality. Travelers speak of Lele's gentle touch, restoring fevered brows, yet cross its boundaries with malice, and illusions twist reality, trapping foes in endless loops of their own fears until they repent or perish. Ula Ula Island, rugged and windswept, finds its champion in Tapu Bulu, the grass-clad behemoth whose massive horns curve like ancient scimitars, adorned with wreaths of living vines that writhe with primal power. Bulu charges across the savannas of ruins of abundance, its subhooves thundering like a herd of stampeding tauros, uprooting obstacles and fostering growth in its wake. This guardian embodies the wild heart of Alola, ramming mountainsides to unleash fertile soil and shielding villages from landslides with barriers of tangled roots. Elders recount how Bulu once halted a volcanic eruption by wrestling the lava flows back into the earth, its roars echoing as the mountain itself yielded in respect. Pony Island, the most remote and foreboding, is shielded by Tapu Fini, the water sovereign whose elegant shell cascades in sapphire veils, mimicking the cascading waterfalls that carve its cliffs. Fini glides through the depths near ruins of hope, its misty aura calming tempests and purifying poisoned waters. With a flick of its feelers, it summons curtains of fog to conceal sacred sites, or unleashes torrents that sweep away corruption. Fisherfolk revere Fini as the mother of the seas, crediting it with guiding lost ships home through impenetrable gales, its presence a cool embrace against the relentless tropical sun. These Tapu are not mere watchers. They are the fierce embodiment of Alola's soul, intervening with playful ferocity when harmony falters. A child strays too close to danger, and a Tapu appears in a burst of Z-power, teleporting them to safety with a wink of otherworldly light. Poachers encroach on forbidden groves, and the islands themselves rebel. Vines ensnare, winds howl, or waters rise until the offenders flee or face divine retribution, bound to their realms by invisible threads of ether. The tapu ensure balance, punishing hubris while nurturing those who live in rhythm with the land. Their protection extends beyond the physical. They are the land spirits incarnate, channels for the island's collective will, whispering through breezes and rumbling in earthquakes to guide the Alolan people. Long before the first human settlers etched their histories into stone, an ancient war scarred Alola's skies. Wormholes tore open like festering wounds in reality, spewing forth the ultra beasts, grotesque invaders from beyond our world, their forms twisted amalgamations of fang, claw and insatiable hunger. Nihiligo drifted like jellyfish phantoms, poisoning minds with neurotoxins that turned allies against each other. Cartanus sliced through jungles with paper-thin blades, felling trees taller than towers in single strokes. Buzzwole flexed bulging arms, shattering boulders as it rampaged for sustenance. These abominations poured from the rifts, devouring life force and destabilizing the island's fragile ecosystems. The tapu united in defiance, their shells resonating with a symphony of power that shook the archipelago. Tapu Koko led the charge, electrifying the air to seal smaller portals with thunderous blasts. Lele wove psychic veils, luring beasts into illusory traps, where they thrashed until exhaustion claimed them. Bulu anchored the earth, its vines coiling around wormhole edges to drag them shut, while Finny flooded the breaches with purified currents, flushing out the remnants. The battles raged for epochs, volcanoes erupting in sympathy, our oceans boiling under the strain. One colossal beast, larger than any before, a shadowy leviathan that eclipsed the moon, threatened to consume Alola whole. The tapu converged upon it in a cataclysmic clash, their combined Z-power erupting in a radiant explosion that banished the horde and scarred the ruins of hope forever. Victorious, they claimed the Tapunium Z crystals, badges of their triumph, forged from the ethereal residue of the war. From this crucible of conflict arose the sacred rites that define Alolan society. The island challenge emerged as a ritual of proving one's worth, a gauntlet designed by the tapu themselves to forge champions attuned to the island's spirits. Young trainers embarked from Iki Town on Melamele, facing trials in hidden dens where totem Pokémon test resolve, massive Vikavolt swarms crackling under Koko's gaze, or waylord behemoths surging in Feeney's domain. Each victory earns a stamp from the local captain, culminating in battles against the kahunas, island leaders handpicked by the tapu for their unyielding bond to the land. Kahunas are no ordinary rulers, they are chosen in moments of divine revelation. Hala of Melamele felt Koko's spark course through him during a ritual dance, marking him with electric scars that glow in battle. Olivia of Akala communed with Lele's mists in a cavern of crystals, emerging with visions that guide her hammer strikes. Nanu of Ula Ula wrestled Baloo's vines in a midnight storm, earning its grudging respect through sheer tenacity. Hapu of Pony was called by Finny's waves crashing upon her doorstep, her resolve as unyielding as the island's plateaus. These kahunas channel the tapu's essence, a wielding Z-rings to unleash Guardian of Alola Z moves, Koko's electric shell smash, pulverizing foes, Lele's psychic surge, healing allies mid-clash. The challenge isn't conquest, it's communion, a path to becoming a kahuna in waiting, protector of the island's harmony. At the core of the tapu's might lies Z-power, a radiant energy drawn from Alola's ley lines, amplified through the sparkling Z crystals they bestow. Tapunium Z, born from their ancient victory, allows mortals to mimic their divine fury, shells manifesting in battle to shield and strike with otherworldly force. This power ties directly to the Alolan land spirits, ethereal presences woven into every grain of sand, every rustling leaf. The tapu are their avatars, sustaining the island's mana through seasonal dances, Coco's thunder rituals charging the soil, come monsoon, Lele's blooms fertilizing Akala's fields, Bulu's charges tilling Ula Ula's plains, Feeney's cascades renewing Pony's springs, disrupt this flow and the spirits stir, earthquakes signal displeasure, bountiful harvests reward reverence. In the wake of the Ultra War, the Tapu entrusted a fragile cosmog to human care, nurturing it toward its evolution into the radiant Solgaleo and Lunala, sun and moon steeds that patrol the ethers. Yet shadows lingered, hungering for Alola's light, a devourer poised to eclipse even these guardians' vigilance. As the Tapu slumber once more in their ruins, their shells humming with quiet power, we turn to the devourer of light, the prism horror that threatened to plunge these islands into eternal dusk. What ancient force could challenge the very dawn itself? Yet amidst the fading echoes of those wormhole rifts, where the Tapu deities sealed away the rampaging ultra beasts, a fragile spark of otherworldly life lingered in Alola's skies. This was Cosmog, a tiny nebula-like being, trembling and newborn, entrusted to the island guardians after their ancient victory over a monstrous intruder from the void. The Tapu Koko, Lele, Bulu and Finny sensed its boundless potential, a celestial child adrift from distant stars, and they nurtured it in hidden shrines across Melemele, Akala, Ula Ula and Poni, watching as it absorbed the island's radiant energy under perpetual tropical sunsets. Cosmog floated like a puff of cosmic mist, its gaseous form swirling with faint starlight, vulnerable yet pulsing with the raw essence of the universe itself. Legends whispered among Alolan kahunas that it had tumbled through an ultra wormhole during the Great Beast War, a lost emigre from realms beyond human comprehension. Over cycles of moonlight and dawn, it grew, shedding its nebulous haze to harden into Cosmoem, a chrysalis of unyielding steel, dormant and heavy, as if the weight of galaxies compressed into a single, silent orb. The Tapu protected these evolutions fiercely, knowing they heralded guardians of light far greater than themselves. Then came the awakening. On Melemele Island, one Cosmoem cracked open under Solgaleo's fierce roar, birthing the son of Pokémon, a majestic, steel psychic lion with a mane of molten sunlight, wings like solar flares, and eyes blazing with the fury of noon. Solgaleo embodied the sun's unyielding blaze, its body a forge of photonic armor that warped space with every graceful pounce. Across the archipelago, on Pony's jagged cliffs, its twin emerged as Lunala. At the moony Pokémon, a ghostly bat draped in indigo veils, wings vast as eclipsed horizons, exhaling crescent moons that bathed the night in ethereal glow. Together, Solgaleo and Lunala became Alola's beacons of celestial energy, their radiant forms channeling the sun and moon's eternal dance, illuminating the islands and holding back the encroaching shadows of ultra space. These radiant siblings weren't mere protectors. They were conduits for Alola's life force, their evolutions marking a pivotal era when the region's light stabilized the fragile veil between worlds. Solgaleo's solar roars could summon ultra wormholes at will, ferrying heroes to distant megacities, while Lunala's lunar whispers mended rifts torn by beasts. Fishermen off Hau'oli shores spoke of Solgaleo's silhouette eclipsing the dawn, yet its metallic hide refracting rainbows across the waves, warming the seas and coaxing coral blooms. Kahunas chanted of Lunala's nocturnal flights, trails of shimmering dust falling like stardust, granting dreams of prophecy to sleeping children. Yet this harmony drew a predator from the abyss, from the lightless expanse of an ultra-megalopolis, a sprawling, crystalline dystopia shrouded in perpetual eclipse, emerged Necrozma, the prism Pokémon, a devourer forged in starvation. Once a benevolent entity known as the Blinding One, Necrozma had shattered in a cataclysmic quest for light, its prismatic body fracturing into shards that pierced dimensions. Now, a jagged black crystal beast with glowing yellow fissures, it hungered for Alola's brilliance, crashing through wormholes like a comet of obsidian hunger. Necrozma sought not just any light, but the purest sources, the sun embodied by Sol Galeo and the moon by Lunala, to heal its broken form and reclaim its lost radiance. The skies darkened as Necrozma descended, its beam-like appendages lancing through clouds, siphoning sunlight until day turned to twilight haze. Crops withered on Akala's farms, waves grew sluggish under Ula Ula's dimmed shores, and the Tapu thrashed in fury, their shields flickering. Sol Galeo charged first, clashing in aerial fury, but Necrozma ensnared it, fusing into the dreaded dusk mane form, a armoured wolf with solar mane dimmed to sickly yellow, rampaging across Melemele with stolen ferocity. Lunala fared no better. Pierced and absorbed, it birthed Dawnwing's Necrozma, a spectral harbinger blotting out the moon, its cries echoing like fracturing glass across Pony's gales. Alola plunged into despair, her light fading from the world as Necrozma, bloated with pilfered energy, evolved further into Ultra Necrozma, a blinding behemoth of pure photonics, wings ablaze with white-hot plasma, body a vortex devouring all illumination. Islands trembled under its psychic onslaught, buildings crumbling to dust, skies fracturing into prismatic voids. The Tapu united in desperation, their Z-moves clashing against its armour, but even their divine dances faltered against such overwhelming hunger. In this hour of eclipse, whispers spread of warriors from the shadows, the Ultra Recon Squad, hailing from the desolate Ultra Megalopolis, where eternal night bred resilient explorers. The Ultra Recon Squad formed as Necrozma's rampage threatened their homeworld too, led by figures like Dulce and Zossi, clad in sleek, otherworldly suits with Pokémon partners like Pheromosa and Kartana. They pierced Alola's veil not as invaders, but reluctant allies. Their mission: recapture the rogue devourer before it consumed all light across realities. Battles raged across the islands, Pheromosa's ultra-speed dueling Buzzwole invaders, Poipole's toxic swarms clashing with Stakataka golems, all while the squad pursued Necrozma's trail of drained husks. You can feel the tension in those clashes, the humid Alolan air crackling with otherworldly energies. Recon agents shouting coordinates amid wormhole flares, their Poipole evolving into Naganadel, mid-battle, lances dripping venom. They uncovered Necrozma's tragic origin. Once the core of their world's faint light, it had overextended, shattering and fleeing into the multiverse, driven mad by Void's emptiness. Yet even they couldn't subdue Ultra Necrozma alone. It took Alola's trainers, fused with Sol Galeo and Lunala's remnants, channeling Z-power through the sacred crystals to pierce its photonic shell. In the heart of the crisis, atop the altar of the Sunna and Mune, the final confrontation unfolded. Ultra Necrozma unleashed light that burns the sky, a cataclysmic beam that scorched horizons, but the combined might of Tapu, Recon Squad, and human resolve held. Light crystals harvested from Alola's depths and Megalopolis spires were embedded into Necrozma's form, restoring its fractured wholeness. The beast convulsed, prisms realigning in a symphony of reforged brilliance. Sol Galeo and Lunala separating free, their lights surging back tenfold. Necrozma, no longer a devourer but the blinding one reborn, ascended through a newborn wormhole, it returning to the stars as a benevolent prism, scattering rainbows across dimensions. Alola breathed again, sunrises vivid, moonrises luminous, the Tapu resuming their vigilant dances. The Ultra Recon Squad vanished into the rifts, guardians of fragile balances between worlds. Yet shadows of greater calamities lingered beyond the horizon, whispers of a catastrophe in distant Galar called the Darkest Day, where heroes wielded sword and shield against an eternal night will uncover in Chapter 16, The Darkest Day. As the ethereal glow of Solgaleo and Lunala faded from Alola's horizons, casting long shadows over distant shores, the winds carried whispers of a far graver peril to the misty hills of Galar. A single meteor streaked across the night sky like a harbinger of doom, at its fiery tail scorching the clouds as it plummeted toward the heart of the region. This was no ordinary celestial wanderer. Within its blackened core slumbered Eternatus, the gigantic Pokémon, a colossal serpentine beast of poison and dragon essence, born from the void of space itself. When the meteor struck, the earth trembled with a force that split mountains and swallowed rivers whole. From the crater's glowing maw rose Eternatus, its massive form uncoiling like a nightmare given flesh, scales shimmering with an otherworldly crimson energy. This was the source of Dynamax, the strange power that would one day define Galar's battles, allowing Pokémon to swell to titanic sizes and unleash devastating max moves. But in that ancient moment, the energy particles it spewed were uncontrolled chaos, saturating the air like a toxic fog. Pokémon across the land began to mutate, growing enormous and rampaging without reason, their roars echoing through fog-shrouded vales and wind-swept moors. The catastrophe unfolded over days that blurred into an endless twilight, now etched in Galar's legends as the darkest day. Crimson skies bled with Dynamax energy, twisting reality itself. Towering trees uprooted and floated skyward. Rivers reversed their flow, boiling with ethereal particles. Cities of stone, built by the earliest human settlers, crumbled as colossal Pokémon clashed in blind fury. The fabric of Galar nearly tore apart. Fissures yawned open, spewing geysers of raw power that warped the land into impossible shapes. Villages vanished into sudden chasms, and the air hummed with a deafening static, as if the world itself screamed in agony. Survivors huddled in the shadows of crumbling ruins, their cries lost amid the thunder of falling debris and the guttural bellows of enlarged beasts. Yet hope flickered in the form of two legendary wolves, ancient guardians who had roamed Galar's wilds since time immemorial. Zacian, the swift and fierce blade wielder, her fur a cascade of silver and scarlet, embodied the unyielding edge of justice. Beside her strode Zamazenta, the stalwart defender, his armoured bulk radiating unbreakable resolve, shield at the ready. These heroes did not stand alone. They allied with the brave humans of old, warriors forged in the fires of desperation, their bonds with Pokémon deeper than blood. Together, they charged into the heart of the maelstrom, where Eternatus loomed like a living apocalypse, its infinite energy core pulsing with malevolent hunger. The battle raged across shattered plains, Zacian's blade slicing through veils of poison gas, carving paths of light through the crimson haze. Zamazenta's shield absorbed cataclysmic blasts, the ground quaking beneath his paws as he held the line against waves of Dynamaxed horrors. Humans directed their own Pokémon allies, their commands a symphony of defiance amid the roar of collapsing cliffs. Eternatus lashed out with beams of pure Dynamax energy, each strike birthing new rifts that threatened to unravel the region entirely. But the wolves pressed on, their forms evolving in the heat of combat, Zacian taking her crowned sword stance, blade gleaming with fairy-like ferocity, Zamazenta donning his hero of many battles armour, a bulwark against oblivion. As dawn's first hesitant light pierced the eternal night, the tide turned. With a final earth-shattering clash, Zacian and Zamazenta pierced Eternatus' core, sealing its rampant energy and forcing the beast into dormancy deep beneath the Winden Stadium site. The skies cleared, the fissures knit shut, and the Dynamax particles settled into a stable hum, forever altering Galar's essence. But victory came at a profound cost. The two heroes, exhausted beyond measure, vanished into legend, their forms fading like mist at sunrise. They entrusted their sacred artifacts to the humans. The rusted sword, once Zacian's gleaming edge, now dulled and slumbering, and the rusted shield, Zamazenta's mighty bulwark, etched with the scars of salvation. These relics lay hidden for 3,000 years, buried in sacred groves and ancient tombs, waiting for worthy successors. The rusted sword, and its hilt wrapped in weathered leather, whispered of swift strikes and noble charges through the ages. The rusted shield, broad and pitted, stood as a testament to endurance, its surface bearing faint engravings of wolves silhouetted against a fractured sky. They slumbered through eras of prosperity and peril, their power dormant until the echoes of the darkest day stirred once more in modern times. Gala's people passed down tales around hearthfires of the wolves who saved their world, their absence a quiet ache in the land's soul. In the quiet aftermath, as the last Dynamax wisps danced on the breeze, the humans rebuilt, forever marked by the event. Pokémon dens across the region became focal points of that lingering energy, sites where trainers would one day harness Dynamax under controlled Gigantamax flares. But the true legacy was the unbreakable bond forged that day between man, wolf, and the wild heart of Gala. Eternatus's prison held firm, its dreams of endless expansion quelled, though faint tremors occasionally remind the bold of its presence. And as we linger on these echoes of ancient valor, the mist-shrouded forests of Hisui call, with tales of primal fury and shadowed packs. Join me next for Chapter 17, The Wolves of the Wield, where bloodlines howl through crimson moons and forgotten hunts awaken secrets that could reshape the wilds forever. I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. As the crimson skies of the darkest day fractured Gala's horizon, and Eternatus's toxic energies warped the very air into swirling vortices of power, the region did not fall into eternal night. Deep within the mist-shrouded heart of the slumbering wield, where ancient oaks twisted like silent sentinels, and the ground hummed with forgotten magic, two legendary wolves had slumbered for centuries untold. Zacian, the radiant blade wielder, her fur a cascade of midnight blue, streaked with gleaming silver, lay coiled in a bed of eternal frost-kissed ferns. Beside her, Zamazenta, the unyielding guardian, her coat a deep crimson, etched with rusted iron shields, breathed in slow, rhythmic harmony with the earth's pulse. These were no ordinary beasts, they were the embodiment of Gala's defiant spirit, forged in the fires of calamity long before the first human footsteps echoed across its hills. Their sleep was no mere rest, but a vigilant trance, woven into the wield's enchanted boughs by the same forces that birthed the land's rolling moors and jagged cliffs. Legends whispered through Gala's taverns, and throne rooms spoke of a time when the stars themselves wept poison, and a colossal meteor scarred the heavens, unleashing Eternatus upon the world. That was the first darkest day, a cataclysm that bloated Pokémon into towering Dynamax behemoths and poisoned the winds until rivers ran black. Yet Zacian and Zamazenta did not stir then, without purpose. They answered the call of Gala's earliest protectors, two heroic siblings from a royal bloodline who wielded them as living weapons of salvation. One king grasped Zacian's hilt-like mane, transforming her into a sword of fairy steel that cleaved through shadows like dawn through fog. The other queen bore Zamazenta as an impenetrable shield, her form expanding into a bastion that absorbed the meteor's fury and hurled it back into dormancy. Bound by an unbreakable oath, these wolves and the lineage of Gala's monarchs shared more than battle scars. Their essences intertwined like roots beneath the soil. The Protector's descendants carried the wolves' indomitable will in their veins, a subtle fire that ignited in times of peril. Crowns and crests bore their likenesses, Zacian's flowing blade etched into scepters, Zamazenta's noble crest emblazoned on shields passed down through generations. Even in peacetime, the wield's mists carried their dreams. visions of crimson eclipses and howling gales that guided the royal family's stewards. Fishermen along the Glimwood Tangle swore they heard distant howls on stormy nights, warnings from the wolves to those who dared disturb the balance. This bond ensured Gala's prosperity, its wild areas blooming with vibrant life, its stadiums roaring with the safe spectacle of Dynamax battles, all stabilized by the wolves' latent vigilance. Centuries drifted by like fog over the wield's hollows, the wolves' breaths sinking with the turning seasons, their forms fading into myth as bards sang of golden ages. But the second coming loomed, insidious and inevitable. In the modern sprawl of Wyndon, where steel towers pierced the clouds and the chairman's ambitions outgrew his wisdom, Eternatus stirred once more. Rose, driven by visions of energy crises, shattered the meteor's ancient seal, unleashing the darkest day anew. Skies bled purple, Gala bands overloaded with raw power, and cities trembled as Gigantamax horrors rampaged. The wield awoke with a thunderous crack, roots splintering as Zacian and Zamazenta burst forth, their eyes blazing like forged steel in a smithy's glow. They raced across the countryside, a blur of blue and red against the encroaching doom, drawn inexorably to the new bearers of their legacy. The descendants had risen, a young champion to be, heir to the Sword King's fervour, and their steadfast ally, echoing the Shield Queen's resolve. Zacian leapt into the fray at Hammerlock Stadium, her rusted sword, unsheathing in a flash of pinkish light, slicing through Eternatus's regenerative coils with arcs of ethereal energy. Zamazenta charged alongside, her shield expanding to a massive bulwark that deflected barrages of Dynamax cannons and toxic flares, the ground quaking under her paws. Together, they cornered the dragon in the stadium's cratered heart, their roars harmonizing into a symphony of defiance that rallied every soul in Galar. The battle raged through the night, Eternatus swelling to obscene sizes, its body a writhing mass of spines and sludge that poisoned the air with every exhale. But the wolves' bond proved unbreakable. Zacian's blade danced with impossible grace, carving wounds that refused to heal, while Zamazenta's shield turned the tide, absorbing and redirecting the beast's cataclysmic blasts back into its core. As dawn's first light pierced the toxic veil, the champions struck the final blow, weakening Eternatus until its form deflated, vulnerable at last. But in a moment of profound stillness, one among them produced the Master Ball, a flawless orb of crimson and white, crafted from the purest energies of capture. With a gentle toss, it engulfed the dragon, its energies sealing Eternatus in stasis, stabilizing Gala's wild fluxes forever. The Dynamax anomalies faded, the skies cleared to reveal the familiar patchwork of fields and spires, and peace settled like dew on the wield's leaves. Zacian and Zamazenta, their duty fulfilled, returned to their sanctuary, curling once more into slumber amid the whispering winds. Yet their watch endures, a quiet promise etched into Galar's soul. And as we linger on these noble wolves who forged salvation from fangs and steel, our tale turns to darker relics across distant lands. Chapter 18, The Treasures of Ruin, where ancient greed awakened forces that shattered kingdoms in flames and frost. As the echoes of Zacian and Zamazenta's heroic clash faded into Gala's misty legends, far to the south, in the sun-baked expanses of Paldea, a different kind of darkness stirred. A king, blinded by insatiable greed, ruled over an ancient kingdom that sprawled across verdant plains and jagged mountains, its palaces gleaming with gold plundered from distant lands. This monarch, whose name has long been lost to the whispering winds, sought not just power, but dominion over the very forces that shaped the earth itself. He heard tales of forgotten relics, artifacts said to hold the essence of the world's primal fury, hidden in shadowed ruins and forgotten temples. Driven by envy and ambition, he dispatched his armies to unearth them, and no matter the cost in blood or sanity. The first treasure fell into his grasp from the depths of a crumbling cavern where earthen tablets lay etched with symbols older than the stars. These were no mere stones. They pulsed with the weight of buried grudges, absorbing the king's own seething resentment toward those who dared defy his rule. As he clutched them in his throne room, under the flicker of torchlight, the tablets began to warp and writhe. Greenish vines erupted from their surfaces, coiling like vengeful serpents, and from their heart emerged Wo-Chien, the ruinous tablet. Its shell, cracked and moss-cloaked, moved with the slow, inexorable grind of shifting tectonic plates. Leaves rustled in its wake, carrying the scent of damp soil turned poisonous, and wherever it slithered, the ground split open, swallowing fields and villages in avalanches of mud and resentment-fueled decay. Not satisfied, the king pressed on, his vaults overflowing, yet his heart emptier still. In the frozen peaks of Paldea's northern ranges, his explorers pried loose a sword from glacial ice that had encased it for eons. Its blade, sharp as winter's bite, hummed with the chill of ancient betrayals, mirroring the monarch's cold disdain for loyalty. He raised it high during a feast, toasting his conquests, but the steel drank deeply of his malice. Frost crackled along its edge, and in a blizzard of shards, Chien Pao burst forth, the ruinous sword, a sleek, snow-leopard form with eyes like fractured ice. It leaped with predatory grace, its every pounce unleashing blizzards that froze rivers solid and entombed armies in crystalline tombs. The air grew thick with the howl of gales, carrying flakes that bit like fangs, turning the king's once lush gardens into barren wastelands. Emboldened, or perhaps maddened, the ruler turned to the arid Badlands, where a massive vessel of dark clay slumbered amid petrified dunes. Legends spoke of it as a urn that trapped the earth's rumbling wrath, and indeed, as his men hauled it back on groaning carts, it seemed to throb with the king's growing paranoia, his fear of rebellion festering within its hollows. Placed upon his altar amid incense and chants, the vessel shattered like thunder, birthing Tinglu, the ruinous vessel. Towering on stilt-like legs, its body a fortress of rugged stone and fur matted with dust, it charged with earthquakes that liquefied the soil beneath palaces. Dust clouds billowed like apocalyptic storms, the ground heaving in rhythmic fury, crumbling spires and burying treasures the king cherished most. But the true horror came with the final prize, fished from sacred lakes where fiery beads floated like malevolent embers. These orbs, radiant with suppressed rage, latched onto the monarch's explosive temper, his outbursts at courtiers who whispered of his folly. In the dead of night, as he donned them like a crown of flames, the beads ignited, swirling into Chi-Yu, the ruinous beads. A serpentine blaze with a maw of molten fury, it darted through the air on wings of searing heat, igniting infernos that leapt from treetop to rooftop, the sky filled with acrid smoke, the crackle of flames drowning out screams as gold melted and stone charred black. These four treasures of ruin, once inert relics, had become living embodiments of the king's darkest emotions: Wo-Chien's grudge, Chien Pao's malice, Tinglu's paranoia, Chi-Yu's rage, amplified into calamitous forces that turned against their master. What began as a night of triumphant revelry spiraled into apocalypse. Wo-Chien tunneled beneath the capital, its vines ensnaring the foundations, pulling grand halls into chasms that exhaled choking spores. Chien Pao prowled the battlements, its icy breath flash-freezing guards mid-scream, their bodies shattering like glass under armoured boots. Tinglu rampaged through the markets, its stomps summoning fissures that swallowed markets whole, the earth groaning like a beast in agony. Chi-Yu wheeled overhead, raining fireballs that reduced the royal fleet to glowing husks on the harbours, the sea boiling and steaming under the onslaught. Set in mere hours, the kingdom that had stood for centuries lay in ruins, its spires toppled, fields scorched, and rivers frozen or diverted into wastelands. The greedy king, cornered in his crumbling throne room, amid the symphony of destruction, the grind of stone, the howl of wind, the roar of flames, begged for mercy that never came. Dawn broke on a ghost province, silent save for the distant rumbles of the awakened quartet. Yet Paldea's ancient sages, survivors huddled in hidden groves, knew the only path to salvation lay in cunning rather than combat. They lured the ruinous beings to the province's 4 elemental shrines, Wo-Chien to the verdant eastern temple of Leaf and Loam, Chien-Pao to the icy northern sanctum of eternal frost, Ting-Lu to the rugged western altar of unyielding stone, and Chi-Yu to the fiery southern pyre of smouldering embers. There, with rituals invoking that the land's primal balance, they sealed the treasures behind barriers of elemental harmony, their powers bound but not extinguished. The shrines stand to this day, humming with restrained fury, a warning etched in the scars of Paldea. Greed awakens what should forever sleep, and as these cursed guardians slumber once more, whispers persist of temporal rifts tearing through the region's heart, where ancient beasts clash with visions from eras unborn. In the next chapter, The Paradox of Time, we'll unravel how past and future collide in Paldea's deepest mysteries, pulling you deeper into the gods' eternal dance. Those cursed treasures of Paldea, once harbingers of a fallen kingdom, were sealed away in shrines scattered across the land, their destructive fury contained by ancient rituals. But beneath the vibrant meadows and towering peaks of this sun-kissed region, far deeper secrets stirred, secrets that twisted the very fabric of existence. At the island's core yawned Area Zero, a colossal crater plunging miles into the earth, its jagged walls glittering with veins of crystalline terrestrial energy, a phenomenon that allowed Pokémon to shift their very types in bursts of radiant power. For generations, whispers among Paldean explorers spoke of this forbidden chasm as a place where the ground refused to heal, where strange lights danced in the perpetual twilight below. It wasn't until the modern era that humanity dared to probe its depths. 2 brilliant minds led the charge: Professor Sada, with her fierce passion for the primal past, and Professor Turo, a visionary obsessed with the boundless future. They established the great crater of Paldea as the heart of their research, drawn by the terrestrial phenomenon's eerie glow, convinced it held the key to transcending time itself. Sada and Turo poured their lives into unraveling Area Zero's mysteries. They uncovered layers of paradox within the crater's depths, fossils of creatures that defied evolutionary records, metallic husks humming with technologies unknown to their world, echoes of battles fought across eons. Terrestrial energy pulsed through it all, a shimmering force that warped reality, bridging eras in ways no one could predict. As they descended further, their expeditions unearthed the first true anomalies, colossal, slumbering forms that didn't belong to any known age. From the shadowed abysses emerged Koraidon, as a majestic beast of raw prehistoric might. Its scales gleamed like weathered stone, armoured plates forged in the fires of ancient volcanoes, wings vast enough to eclipse the sun. Koraidon roared with the fury of a world untamed, its body a living relic of Paldea's savage dawn, when continents heaved and life clawed its way from primordial ooze. Riders who dared bond with it felt the thunder of forgotten stampedes in their veins, gliding on thermal winds that carried scents of fern-choked jungles long overgrown. Yet Koraidon was no solitary wanderer. High above the crater's rim, piercing the clouds with electric fury, soared Miraidon. This entity pulsed with futuristic splendor, its sleek frame a symphony of cybernetic grace, wheels of plasma spinning silently, eyes glowing with data streams from a tomorrow yet unborn. Her Miraidon didn't merely fly, it levitated on anti-gravity fields, discharging surges that mimicked the hum of starships slicing through void black skies. Those who approached felt the chill of automated precision, a world where flesh and machine danced in perfect, inevitable harmony. The professor's obsession deepened. Sada saw in Koraidon the ultimate ancestor, a perfect Pokémon from the past that embodied survival's brutal poetry. Turo beheld Miraidon as evolution's pinnacle, a fusion of biology and boundless innovation. They sought chronological travel, believing terrestrial energy could rip open gateways through time. Laboratories sprawled across Area Zero's tiers, buzzing with quantum stabilizers and crystal amplifiers as they chased the dream of stepping backward or forward across millennia. But paradise fractured under ambition's weight. Sada's fixation warped her. She couldn't reconcile Miraidon's alien perfection with her love for primal chaos. Turo, entranced by Koraidon's raw power, rejected the sterile future he'd engineered. In their quests, they tampered with forces beyond mortal grasp. Tragically, both met untimely ends in the crater's unforgiving depths, their bodies claimed by cave-ins or the paradoxes they unleashed. Yet their legacies endured through artificial intelligences, digital echoes of Sada and Turo, programmed to continue the work, guiding new generations of explorers while hiding the professor's fatal mistakes. As truth unraveled, the paradox crystallized. Koraidon and Miraidon weren't gods forged by divine whim, but biological reflections of divergent eras, pulled into the present by terrestrial's temporal rifts. Koraidon hailed from Paldea's ancient wilds, an epoch of mega-evolved titans and endless predation, where survival meant adapting or perishing in lava flows and seismic upheavals. Miraidon thrummed from a distant future, one of technological ascension, where Pokémon integrated with neural networks and energy matrices, soaring through neon megacities under perpetual auroras. Terrestrial energy wove them together, a crystalline nexus that intersected past and future in Area Zero's heart. This force, born perhaps from the world's own creation myths, allowed these temporal trespassers to coexist, their clashes sparking new evolutions and anomalies. Explorers descending the crater's Zero Lab witnessed herds of revived ancients grazing beside drone-like descendants. Had the air thick with ozone and earth musk, time folding like paper in a child's hand. Deeper still lay the source, Terrapagos, a diminutive turtle cradling the raw essence of terrestrialization. Its shell, a mosaic of shimmering facets that could refract reality itself. This unassuming guardian had slumbered eons, its power inadvertently summoning the duo across the chronostream. Koraidon and Miraidon, revered as scarlet and violet deities, weren't creators but survivors, mirrors of what Pokémon could become, primal ferocity locked in eternal dance with cybernetic evolution. In Area Zero's glowing expanse, past and future bled into one, challenging every law of gods who shaped the world. These paradoxes whispered that time wasn't a straight path, but a glittering web, fragile and infinite. And as the crater's lights flickered like distant stars, our hints emerged of other enigmas lurking in Paldea's shadowed valleys, where a hidden ogre and the three betrayers awaited their own reckoning in tales yet untold. Beyond the fractured timelines of Area Zero, where Koraidon's primal fury met Miraidon's electric hum under the glow of terrestrial crystals, lies another corner of Paldea's vast legacy, a remote land called Kitakami, veiled in autumn mists and ancient grudges. Here, in the land of the kitsune masks and whispering winds, a story unfolds not of gods clashing across eons, but of a gentle spirit betrayed by those hailed as saviors. Deep in Kitakami's fertile valleys, long before the festivals of mochi and loyalty oaths, there lived a creature unlike any other. She was Ogrepon, a being of grass and unyielding spirit, her form small yet vibrant, adorned with a teal mask carved from the heart of an ancient tree. This mask, shimmering like morning dew on Kitakami's rice fields, allowed her to blend among the humans, tending their crops under the harvest moon. The villagers, simple folk bound to the rhythms of the seasons, came to cherish her quiet presence. She danced through their fields at dusk, her steps coaxing golden stalks to sway taller, her laughter a rustle like leaves in a gentle breeze. Grateful for her gifts, a kind craftsman from the village fashioned 3 more masks for her, each echoing the moods of Kitakami's ever-changing heart. The wellspring mask, blue as mountain springs, welled with joyful tears that nourished the earth after dry spells. The hearth flame mask, red as embers in a winter hearth, burned with protective fury to ward off blights and beasts. And the cornerstoner mask, a sturdy grey etched with unbreaking lines, stood as a shield of solemn resolve, grounding the land through quakes and storms. With these, Ogerpon became the unseen guardian of Kitakami, her masks not mere adornments, but vessels of the region's soul. Teal for friendship's bloom, blue for renewal's flow, red for passion's fire, grey for endurance's weight. But envy festers in shadowed hearts, and from distant lands beyond the mountains came 3 interlopers, drawn by whispers of Ogerpon's power. They called themselves the Loyal 3, Okidogi, the poison-fighting brute, with fists like poisoned clubs, Munkidori, the poison psychic trickster, whose gaze twisted minds like vines, and Fezandipiti, the poison fairy deceiver, cloaked in feathers that dripped toxic allure. These were no humble travellers, but opportunistic wanderers, hungry for glory and the masks that amplified Ogerpon's essence. They posed as noble protectors, flattering the villagers with promises of strength while plotting in the gloaming. One fateful festival night, as lanterns bobbed like fireflies over the village square, the betrayal ignited. The Loyal 3 cornered Ogerpon at the edge of the fields, ripping the teal mask from her face and claiming it as their own trophy. Enraged, Ogerpon donned the hearth flame mask, its flames roaring to life in her eyes, and struck back with a vengeance that shook the valley. Okidogi charged like a rampaging bull, only to crumple under her blazing lashes. Munkidori wove illusions of deceit, but her rooted fury shattered them like brittle twigs. Fezandipiti flitted with poisoned grace, yet Ogerpon's inferno consumed their treachery. The 3 lay defeated, their bodies twisted in the dirt, masks clutched in lifeless grips. Panic seized the villagers. In the firelight's chaos, they saw not the victim, but a monstrous ogre, horns curling like thorns, mask aglow with hellish red, tales twisted in the retelling. The Loyal 3 had sacrificed themselves to banish the rampaging demon from Kitakami. Their preserved forms were enshrined as heroes in the village's grandest hall, adorned with the stolen masks, Okidogi with teal, Munkidori with wellspring, Fezandipiti with cornerstone. Ogerpon, heartbroken and alone, fled into the mist-shrouded peaks. Her hearth flame mask cracked from the battle, a scar mirroring her wounded spirit. The legend solidified, heroes loyal unto death, ogre forever cursed. High in the crags of the dreaded den, where thorned vines choked the entrance and fog clung like a shroud, Ogerpon carved out a solitary existence. Days blurred into nights as she guarded her fractured memories, the remaining masks hidden in her lair, pulsing faintly with Kitakami's lost harmony. No more dances in the fields, no more shared mochi under starlit skies. She wandered the den's echoing chambers, her footsteps muffled by moss, whispering to the wind about the friend who crafted her treasures, now long turned to dust. Echoes of laughter faded into growls of isolation, her form growing wilder, more feral under the weight of unjust exile. Rain pattered endlessly on the den's roof, mirroring the tears she could no longer shed freely, while autumn leaves drifted in, reminders of harvests she once blessed. Centuries passed, and the fabricated legend etched into every Kitakami festival, every oath sworn to the Loyal 3. Children donned replicas of the stolen masks, chanting praises to the false saviors, oblivious to the truth rotting beneath the shine. But legends, like buried roots, have a way of resurfacing. In time, a new generation of trainers arrived. Young souls from Paldea, drawn by tales of hidden ogres and peculiar festivals. Among them, a boy named Kieran, whose quiet determination hid a fire akin to Ogrepon's own. It began with whispers at the village outskirts, challenges issued under Mochi moon. The trainers uncovered scrolls yellowed with age, murals faded but telling, of a masked friend, not foe. Confronting the loyal three's revived shades, empowered by some dark relic from their past, the truth blazed forth. Ogreponn emerged from her den, its masks reclaimed one by one in battles that echoed the ancient betrayal. Teal restored her gentle smile, Wellspring her joyful waters, Cornerstone her steadfast guard, and Hearthflame her righteous blaze. The village watched in awe as the ogre, no, the true hero, stood tall, her bond with the trainers sealing a new era. Forgiveness didn't come easy. Grudges lingered like morning fog. Yet as Ogreponn walked freely once more, tending fields with her human allies, Kitakami breathed anew. The loyal three's shrines became monuments to caution, their legend unravelled thread by thread. Ogreponn found not just vindication, but companionship. A pack of trainers who saw her heart beneath the masks, sharing laughs over steaming mochi, their adventures weaving her solitude into a tapestry of belonging. And as this tale of hidden truths settles like Kitakami's evening mist, we turn our gaze to the very heart of those shimmering terrestrial wonders from Area Zero. Chapter 21, The Crystalline Source, unveils the ancient entity slumbering beneath it all, a radiant being whose awakening could rewrite Paldea's destiny forever. What secrets does this crystal guardian hold, and how does it bind past, present, and the gods themselves? Drift deeper with me, yet beneath the misty peaks of Kitakami, where Ogerpon's masks still whisper of betrayal and false glory, lies a thread pulling us back to Paldea's shadowed core. That fabricated legend of the loyal three conceals a far older truth, one etched in crystalline light, pointing straight to the great crater's abyss. Terrapagos, the ancient turtle, whose slumber birthed the terrestrial phenomenon itself. Deep within Area Zero, that vast chasm, scarred into Paldea's earth, the great crater yawns like a wound from some primordial fall. Research has long puzzled over its origins, peering down through layers of mist and twisted stone, but none grasped the full scope until the indigo disk unlocked the final depths. Here at the planet's fractured heart, Terrapagos resides, a being not of this era alone, but a wanderer from beyond time's grasp. Legends murmur it arrived eons ago, perhaps hurled through rifts akin to those spawning Koraidon and Miraidon, seeking refuge in Paldea's welcoming embrace. Its shell gleams with facets of pure terra crystal, each one a prism capturing the world's raw energies. Fires flicker, waters flow, the electric pulse of storms, all refracted into shimmering terra types. When Terrapagos first stirred, poking its head above the crater's rim in curiosity, that innocent gaze unleashed the terrestrial phenomenon across Paldea. Pokeballs in the labs above caught the overflow. Trainers everywhere witnessed their companions morphing into radiant, type-shifting forms, as if the land itself granted ascension. This wasn't mere mutation or anomaly. It was the turtle's gift, or perhaps its unintended breath, infusing every corner of the region with crystalline potential. The indigo disc reveals the intimate bond. Terrapagos doesn't just dwell in Paldea, it sustains her. Drawing from the indigo disc, that enigmatic artifact mirroring the turtle's own form, we learn how Terrapagos channels the planet's life force. Picture veins of azure light threading through the crater's walls, pulsing with the collective energy of every Pokémon, every blade of grass, every rushing river. The disc, once held by ancient explorers, acts as a key, resonating with Terrapagos to amplify this flow. It's the bridge between the legendary turtle and the world's vitality, a symbiotic pulse where Paldea's essence nourishes the sleeper, and in return, Terrapagos weaves stability into the land. In its dormant state, curled within the underdepths, Terrapagos maintains the delicate balance of the Chaldean landscape, earthquakes that could shatter mountains, stilled by its rhythmic breaths, rivers carving canyons unchecked, guided back into harmony, even the paradoxes bleeding from time's edges, Coridon's ancient fury, Miraidon's futuristic gleam, find containment through its influence. The turtle slumbers not in weakness, but in eternal vigilance, its crystalline body a living dam against chaos. Disturb it, and the crater trembles. Awaken it fully, and terrestrial energies could reshape reality anew. Descend now, in your mind's quiet drift, to the under depths, that realm of unparalleled shimmering beauty, where ultimate power resides. Crystal spires rise like frozen waterfalls, refracting light into rainbows that dance across bioluminescent pools. Air hums with a soft, resonant chime, each facet of Terrapagos' shell singing in harmony as Tira shards float lazily, catching glints of otherworldly glow. Vines of pure energy twist through caverns vast as cathedrals, their glow warming the chill depths, while distant echoes of dripping water blend with the turtle's slow, steady heartbeat. Here time feels suspended. Paradoxes flicker like distant stars, and the world's energies converge in a symphony of light and stone. This cradle of terrestrial power holds secrets, yet untold, whispers of how Terrapagos' arrival intertwined with Paldea's fate, perhaps even seeding the very paradoxes that confound us. Explorers who touched the indigo disk felt it, a surge of pure potential, echoing the turtle's ancient voyage. And as we linger in these luminous depths, the true architects of hidden wonders beckon from the shadows, those mythical shapers whose subtle hands wove even the gods' grand designs. As the crystalline shell of Terrapagos pulses with the raw, terrestrial energy that binds Paldea's paradoxes and powers its shimmering crystals, we turn our gaze to forces even more elusive, the mythical shapers who weave the very threads of life, time and the stars themselves into the Pokémon world. These beings, often whispered about in forgotten scrolls and ancient nursery rhymes, don't thunder across continents or clash in primal wars. They operate in the shadows of existence, their influence as subtle as a single raindrop nourishing an endless forest, or a spark of DNA igniting the spark of creation. Consider Mew, the tiniest architect of everything that crawls, flies, or swims in this world. Born from the dawn of life itself, Mew carries within its playful, kitten-like form the complete genetic code of every Pokémon that has ever existed. Scientists in the Kanto region, poring over fossilized remains and cloning experiments gone awry, have long puzzled over this. Mew's DNA isn't just a blueprint, it's the original mold, a swirling helix that branched out into thousands of species over eons. Picture it darting through misty jungles, its translucent tail flickering like a will-o'-the-wisp, evading capture while unknowingly seeding the diversity of life. From the hulking onyx burrowing through mountains to the delicate jigglypuff humming lullabies under starlit skies, every trait traces back to Mew's elusive genome. Clones like the infamous Mewtwo only scratch the surface of its power, hinting at the infinite potential locked in that single mischievous creature. Without Mew, the Pokémon world would be a barren echo, devoid of the vibrant tapestry that unfolds across regions, from Kanto's verdant shores to Paldea's rugged peaks. Yet Mew's legacy doesn't stand alone. It intertwines with guardians who ensure that legacy endures through the relentless march of time. Celebi emerges here. Here's a sprite of emerald light and fluttering wings, forever bound to the pulse of the forests. This time, Traveler doesn't conquer eras with brute force, but slips through temporal folds like a breeze through leaves, mending the wounds inflicted on nature's heart. Legends from Johto speak of Celebi's quiet vigils in Ilex Forest, where it appears to those pure of heart, its body shimmering with the dew of ancient mornings. When loggers' axes threaten to fell, the last great oaks or wildfires rage unchecked. Celebi whisks back centuries, planting seeds that will grow into the very trees now crumbling to ash. Its travels aren't random. They're a sacred duty to keep the forests eternally green, vibrant havens where life renews itself in cycles of leaf and root. Travellers who glimpse it report a serene hum, like wind chimes in a hidden glade, carrying scents of pine and wildflowers across the ages. In Johto's misty shrines, offerings of berries and polished stones plead for Celebi's intervention, knowing one visit can restore a withered woodland to its primordial glory, ensuring Mew's genetic wonders have soil to thrive in. From these timeless woods, our story drifts to slumbers far deeper, where wishes take form in the quiet of a millennium. Jirachi, the Wish Star Pokémon, curls into a cocoon of steel and starlight, awakening once every 1,000 years to answer the purest hearts. High in the mountains of Hoenn, where shooting stars streak like silver tears, Jirachi's third eye blinks open, granting boons that reshape destinies without fanfare. Folklore tells of villagers who, in moments of true desperation, not greed, behold its golden form hovering amid auroras, its tiny arms weaving threads of reality. A drought ends with rains summoned from clear skies. A barren field blooms overnight under its gaze. But Jirachi discerns intent like a diviner, ignoring the selfish and rewarding only those whose wishes align with the world's gentle harmony. Its 1,000-year sleep isn't idleness. It's a recharge in cosmic isolation, dreaming of the constellations that birthed it, emerging renewed to sprinkle miracles that echo Mew's life-giving spark and Celebi's verdant guardianship. Those rare souls who earn its favour carry the weight of that encounter forever, their lives subtly altered, as if the universe itself bent to whisper possibility. And then, piercing this serene weave, comes Deoxys, a stark reminder that the universe harbours chaos amid its order. Hailing from the cold void beyond the stars, Deoxys arrived not as a benevolent wanderer, but as a mutated virus, warped by cosmic rays into a shape-shifting enigma of DNA. Its crystalline core pulses with alien menace, reforming limbs and senses to adapt to any threat. Attack form for battle, defense for endurance, speed for evasion. In the Hoenn skies, where meteors rain like judgment, Deoxys crashed into the world, embodying the unpredictability that even Arceus couldn't fully tame. Space agencies track its orbiting remnants, fearing another fall that could unleash viral plagues on Pokémon and humans alike. Yet in its eerie grace, twisting through auroras with tentacles of pure energy, Deoxys challenges the stability Mew provides, a cosmic wildcard that mutates genes on contact, spawning variants that push evolution's boundaries. It forces us to confront the star's indifference, yet where a single ray can birth a god or a destroyer, reminding every shaper, from forest sprites to genetic ancestors, that the universe twists in ways no wish or time hop can fully predict. These mythical forces, Mew's blueprint pulsing through veins of life, Celebi's verdant threads stitching time's fabric, Jirachi's millennial gifts, and Deoxys's stellar unpredictability, form the hidden undercurrent that sustains the grander legends we've explored. They don't seek temples or sagas, their work hums in the background, ensuring the world Arceus forged remains alive, green, and wondrously unpredictable. But what happens when these shapers' influences collide with the scales of cosmic equilibrium? Join me next for Chapter 23, The Eternal Balance, where the guardians who tip neither toward chaos nor stagnation reveal their timeless vigil, and you'll uncover the delicate dance holding it all together. As the forests whisper their eternal thanks to Celebi's gentle touch, and Mew's ancient code pulses through every living breath, we turn our gaze upward to the pinnacle of it all. Arceus, the Alpha, the original one, stands alone at the crest of this divine order, its form a shimmering void from which all else unfurls. Born from nothingness, it shattered chaos with a single will, forging the egg that cradled Hisui's dawn. From its 13 plates sprang the essence of every type, land rising like breath from slumber, seas carving paths of endless blue, skies veiling stars in velvet night. Beneath Arceus, the creation trio forms the unyielding spine of reality. Dialga, steel-hearted sovereign of time, its every tick a forge hammering moments into eternity, forward and back without mercy or pause. Palkia, pearl-scaled architect of space, stretches voids into infinities, pink rifts blooming where mountains kiss the horizon. And Giratina, shadowed renegade of antimatter, twisted guardian of the distortion world. Its rage once cracked the veil, but now holds the fractures from spilling over. Exiled yet essential, it devours imbalance, ensuring the trio's rhythm never falters. Together, they cradle the world in a cradle of ironclad law, Arceus' firstborn enforcers of the cosmic weave. Cascading from these heights come the shapers of elements and earth, each a pillar in the towering edifice. In Hoenn's primal fury, the weather trio wages its endless vigil, Kyogre delving abyssal trenches with waves that sing of forgotten depths, Groudon clenching magma fists to heave continents skyward, their scarlet and azure primal roars once drowning the world in flood and drought. Rayquaza, emerald serpent of the ozone, coils above it all, delta wings silencing the chaos with megaloblasts of serene command. Across Sinnoh's lakes, the trio of cognition, Uxie with eyes of piercing knowledge, Mesprit's emotive haze drifting like mist-kissed dreams, Azelf's willful spark igniting the fire of resolve, bestow the gifts that birthed your civilizations, your battles, your unbreakable spirits. Deeper still, the titans of toil and tremor anchor the foundations. Regigigas, the continental king, its colossal frame roped with ancient might, dragged supercontinents into place like a weary atlas shrugging off slumber. From its labor sprang Regiroc's unyielding stone gaze, Regice's glacial hush, Registeel's mirrored gleam, and in later echoes, Regieleki's electric frenzy, Regidrago's draconic fury. In Paldea's shadowed fall, the treasures of ruin twisted greed into apocalypse, Wochian's tablet wrath crumbling palaces to dust, Qianpao's blade carving ice through empires, Tinglu's vessel quaking the ground to swallow thrones, Qiyu's beads igniting vengeful flames. Sealed in shrines, they remind us destruction serves rebirth, corruption yielding to quiet stone. This hierarchy branches into sentinels of storm and sword, guardians sworn to fragile equilibria. Johto's tower duo crowns the revival, Ho-Oh's rainbow plumage arching over Brass Tower's ashes, resurrecting the legendary beasts, Raiku's thunder gallop, Entei's volcanic roar, Suicune's purifying cascade to roam as harbingers of life's fierce cycle. Lugia dives the sea's silent heart, silver wings damping tsunamis before they crest. Unova's swords of justice charge as steel-clad knights, Cabalion's noble horn, Terrakion's earthen charge, Virision's verdant blade, with Keldeo's cerulean oath sealing their pact against humanity's cruelties. The forces of nature whip tempests into harmony, Tornadus's gales, Thundurus's crackling ire, Landorus's fertile grounding, and Enamorus weaving love's subtle threads. At the roots, regional protectors weave the intimate wards. Alola's tapu dance ethereal shells, Coco's electric sparks guarding peaks, Lele's psychic blooms nurturing minds, Bulu's grassy tremors blessing fields, Afini's watery veils shielding shores from the ultra beast void. Gala's hero duo, Zacian and Zamazenta, Rustwolf and Iron Dog, sheathed their blades and shields against Eternatus's meteor poison, ending the darkest day's crimson skies. Paldea's paradoxes, Koraidon's primal claws from epochs lost, Miraidon's futuristic hums from eras unborn, encircle Terrapagos's crystalline slumber in Area Zero, its terror shell the font of radiant reinvention. even Kitakami's masked ogre, true hero against the loyal three's perfidy, embodies the grassroots defiance that upholds the chain. From this vast pyramid, mythicals like Mew and Celebi thread the seams, unseen weavers, mending the fabric with genetic whispers and temporal grace. Yet the true marvel lies in the cycle they all sustain. Creation's blaze yielding to destruction's gale, and only for rebirth's dawn to bloom anew. Arceus hatches the egg, Dialga ticks the epochs, Regigigas hauls the lands, then Giratina rends, Kyogre floods, treasures shatter kingdoms, Rayquaza mediates, Ho-Oh revives, Tapu dances the wounds closed. Wars of primal gods scar the cradle, human hubris summons shadows like Eternatus or the Ultra Beasts, but always the balance restores. Forests regrow under Celebi, paradoxes fuse in Terrapagos's glow, Ogerpon's masks unmask truth. History spirals not in line, but in eternal loop, each cataclysm a seed for the next genesis. In our modern hush, these gods do not slumber forgotten. They watch from the fringes, quiet sentinels in a world of Pokeballs and badges. Dialga's steel ticks echo faintly in every clock tower's chime. Palkia's voids linger in the warp of ultra wormholes glimpsed at dusk. Rayquaza patrols the jet streams unseen, its silhouette a fleeting contrail. Lugia stirs the deepest trenches, a silver ripple beneath shipping lanes. The Regigiants doze in temple ruins, their eyes flickering at seismic whispers. Tapu shells gleam on Alolan cliffs, warding tourists from forgotten rifts. Zacian and Zamazenta prowl Gala's wilds, rust and iron glinting under moonlit fog. Koraidon and Miraidon circle Area Zero's maw, guardians of time's tangled knot. Even the treasures hum faintly from their shrines, a caution etched in stone. Feel that rhythm now, the world's own heartbeat sinking to their ancient pulse. Dialga's methodical ticks, steady as a lullaby's metronome, marking seconds into centuries without end. Lugia's waves, soft and vast, lapping at the edges of sleep, carrying whispers from ocean floors where light dares not tread. Inhale the balance, creation's warmth, destruction's chill, rebirth's sigh. Arceus dreamed it so, from chaos to this fragile peace, and in their vigilant gaze, it endures. Let it carry you deeper, into dreams, where the hierarchy holds true, the cycle turns unbroken, and the gods breathe with you. What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.